Yes, 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 yes. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den. Happy Saturday to everybody, man. And I see y'all already lighting up them chats, man. It is absolutely amazing
108
to have
Dragons
you group
TV
of people
welcomes
just come
Living
straight
Split
out,
Screen
taking
Podcast to the
time out of your
show.
day to give us your attention, man. It is amazing. Facts.
108
Now,
Dragons TV
we got
welcomes
some
four
topics
guys
for
with
today. We're
quarters.
gonna have a couple different views. We also got my boy Bloody Knuckles and Akumu. I'm not saying the rest. I'm not,
No,
but
you got it right this time.
I know what your first name is. I can't say Matatata. I sounds like
That's fine.
listen, I sound different. I sound like I need to be in the classroom underneath the basement of the boiler room. But with that being said, we got two special people here. This is her second time on the show. This is the bloody debut on the Dragon's Den, man, and it's a pleasure to have him. And yeah, people, I see y'all got them chats lit, man, and it is greatly appreciated everybody showing up. And we're gonna try to give you an entertaining show. So we're gonna start off with our guests. And we're gonna go with the lady first, because you know beautiful women go first. We all welcome mats to the women. You know how we do. So, Akumu, I hear you watch Mortal Kombat. And what game has been plaguing your life in the last week? What's good with you, girl? What's good?
Yes, I did see Mortal Kombat. I liked it. Highly recommend. And I am still, unfortunately, addicted to Genshin Impact.
Oh,
I
yeah.
keep it just like Lasso. I keep saying I'm gonna play something different. I'm gonna play a new game, and then I focus on the Genshin Impact because I'm one of those that I want to 100% the events, and they had the events, and I'm like, nope.
Oh, so you as bad as me. Like, you know, I say, yo, listen, Judgment I had on my PS4. And I game share with my daughter's godfather. Shout out to Mini Me. He bought it on Xbox. Then I buy a near replicant. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play these games. And you know what I popped in? The same two games I goddamn addicted to. Call of Duty and goddamn 2K. So
I will say, when Resident Evil Village comes out, though, that's what's gonna cause me to break my Genshin streak.
okay, that's good. That's good. Then we got the Dragonator in the room, aka Devil Fingers, aka the Indian, Mexican, and mix and all that, Mr. Anime himself, the man that can pronounce any Japanese developer, president, and everything else under the Japanese sun. We got that man Bloody Knuckles, and his knuckles get bloody, man, because if he hit you one of them rings, boy, Jesus Christ, some Saint rings or something else. That's my brother over there from another mother from Texas. My man, Bloody Knuckles. What's good with you, Bloody? Talk to me. What's been holding you down?
What's going on, everyone, brother? I always appreciate your intros. They are absolutely legendary. But guys, you already know who it is. Bloody Nuts, aka the Goth the Gamer.
Megatron in the building. 108 Dragons TV welcomes you, brother.
Here showing out and showing my brother some love here on the Dragon's Den. And of course, it's always good to be here with PK and Sick, and of course, the lovely, beautiful Akuma Matata over there. I always love being able to come out here. But you know, I just wanted to come show some love when you asked me to come on. I definitely got some great topics, man. And kind of like Akumu, we've been hooked on Genshin all the time. We're always playing late into the night because we're just like busy during the day, and we're like, all right, what time is it? 4 in the morning? We got time. Let's finish out our grinding out our daily stuff. So we've been doing that, but you know, right now Judgment just came out. Excited for that, but right now I'm waiting so patiently for my new replicant to come in. Can't wait to be all over that. Then of course we got a few weeks until both the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect and Resident Evil 8 Village. So you know, this spring season we've been eating good when it comes to games, and now I got to just go back and finish some of the other things. I got my backlog a little bit. I got to finish up that getting all the 100% done in Near Automata before Replicant. But other
Okay.
than that, you just know what it is. You know what it is.
And let me warn y'all people, man. And you know, I told my man Bloody he wasn't allowed to be on this channel with his lady because I ain't doing this love boat crap. But you know, things happen. You know what I'm saying? So we got both these people. So hopefully we can get through these shows without Cupid popping up on the low and just taking over my show. But it's good to see you. And I'm surprised you ain't got on no Xbox shirt or Kumu. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't let this dude spoil you too much. You know, that's my guy. I love him, but that's my brother. So now we're gonna hop into. Go ahead.
If we're gonna be fair, I love my consoles, but and Nux already knows. I was primarily a PC gamer till I started dating him, and he got me more into the
Wait,
console.
hold up. I'm
So
about to throw y'all under the bus. Did y'all hear the nickname for this dude, Bloody? When Nux. This is, you know what? I don't know, man. But anyway, let's get into my other two cool hosts. The main electrifying man in the building, live and entertainment. He might be a little bit off tonight, but he's feeling under the weather, but my boy is still here. And yeah, PK, let them know what it is and what game has taken your life this week.
What's happening, everyone? And definitely glad to be here. It's been a rough week. I'm happy I got to sign up for that PSO2 New Genesis. I sent that down the line for Sick to hop on, and Graphic God. And we all gonna be a family. We're gonna learn this, start from scratch, and hit this right.
What game was that again?
Fantasy Star Online 2.
That's what I'm
New
talking
Genesis.
about. Woo.
By the way,
Woo.
this is definitely
Woo.
in the western side of the world. It's only launching on Windows and Xbox. Just FYI.
And okay. And you know what? I gotta shout out my brother in the chat, man. And first of all, let me say something to you and PK and Sick. That did a fantastic podcast last night on GRG featuring Dilla as a special guest. Y'all dudes really impressed me. You definitely spreaded that knowledge and showed dudes that on GRG we got some tech dudes that's just absolutely amazing. And I'm sad I missed it. I had to do my little club thing. You know, I'm a business owner, so I had to do my thing over here. But you know, seeing y'all dudes get out there and talk y'all tech talk, very impressive, very to the point, and putting a staple on the game and showing people your knowledge. I got to shout out to you and Sick for that. You definitely did your thing. So we gonna get into the final dude. We gonna get into the narrative situation. We gonna get into the dude. If you need new credit cards, he will hack your life. He will give you a new identity. He will. Yo, look. Yo, feds, don't worry about it. I told you I got y'all. I'm dry snitching. But if you need a new identity, if you need to put a rover on Mars, my man, aka Six Slayer, is the way to put that rover up there at a low budget price, EBT card status. So with that being said, Sick, what's good with you? And what game has taken your life this week? Let's go.
Well, VR in general has taken my life, and I think is contributing to my migraines as well, man. Maybe I need to leave that alone just a little bit, but it's been a quick week, yo. But thanks to PK, I was up on signing up for that new Genesis. I'm really hyped for that because that's a game.
Why I ain't get the link? We supposed to be the light skinned team over here.
I'm not gonna.
Me and you played PSO every day for years until the service got shut down. That's how y'all doing me. That's how y'all gonna do me.
Play this new one because you didn't play the current one.
But so what? So
There's
what?
no link. There's no
open.
link, homie. You just have to get in the insiders and then hit the join. That's it.
I want to be part of the team. I'm feeling goddamn left out.
Okay, well, everybody who's in the Insider app on PC, not console, is there for you.
Okay. I see how it is. I see. You know what I'm saying?
Join us. Join us, Prometheus.
Now you part of the Evil Dead. Join.
Yeah, drink some more of this. You'll be good.
Me and Akuma already set up. I was like, we good. You got two teams over here. Just choose your poison.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we gonna hop into these topics, man. It's a pleasure to have both y'all here. Akuma, this your second time, and you listen. You know you about to be in that high rotation. You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody on my panel with a master's degree. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna be the masters at this situation. So now we're gonna jump into these topics, man. And the first topic I want to talk about that we all ain't really gotta dwell for hours, but I want to talk about the retracting statements from PlayStation with the PlayStation Vita store, which will still be shutting down July 2nd. You'll be able to go out there and get those games. And how will it affect scalpers? Because they ran out there and bought a lot of hard copies from local mom and pop stores. And Sony actually listening to the public on the debacle about taking down these stores. Akuma, we're gonna start with you. What did you feel about Sony finally listening to their gaming community, and did you like what they did?
Yeah, again, like I still have my Vita. I have the PlayStation 3 packed up somewhere. Play some of the classic games because like I said last time I was on here, how they don't have the backwards compatibility.
Right.
So I absolutely loved it because I was one of the people that were like, you're getting rid of the stores. Why? Because people still use them. At the same time though, I can kind of understand why, because they're feeding so many like resources into it. So from like a an investment standpoint, the return of investment standpoint, I can kind of
108
understand.
Dragons TV welcomes everyone.
Because it's people. A lot of times people will put things off to the wayside, and then all of a sudden they're getting rid of it, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, no, there's still games I want to download. There's still this, and it's kind of one of those. I thought I had more time.
Right.
And then it gets rid of it, and then people realize, well, okay, this isn't something that's going to be around forever. So I appreciate the fact that Sony listened to them. Now the only thing is how long are they going to listen to them? Because the July 2nd, that's for the PSP itself, but Vita and the PlayStation 3 store are still going to be running. So now you have like, okay, well, you took it away once. Okay, what's going to stop you from trying to get rid of it again? And how far into the future do we still have? My theory is as soon as they get enough stock of the PlayStation 5, because I feel like, oh, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to force everybody to get that PlayStation 5, but it's still limited and you still can't find it. I feel like once they feel like, okay, we have enough stock for people to buy this PlayStation 5, I feel like that's when they're going to come back and revisit this and try and shut it down again, thinking, okay, well, people have PlayStation 5, no one's going to care now.
Right. But you don't think, all right, let me ask you another question. Let's add on to this. You don't think with they should move forward? Like those platforms, I mean, the Vita, the PSP was successful. The Vita, they bailed out on quick. I don't think, let me say this. Do you think they should really support those platforms? I mean, they're pretty much dead.
Right. Well, I'm not saying they should support them forever. Again, my whole thing is right now, a lot of people are going back and they're replaying these classics because you can't play them on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Some people,
unless you're emulating.
Right, unless you're emulating. But but if you're streaming or doing videos and stuff, you can get punished for that, right? You can get strikes against you. So some of these people, they go like myself. I found an old disc. You go and try and pop it in and see if it's working. It's like, well, shoot, something happened to the disc. It's not working. All right, let me go and buy this game. In the long run, I don't see it as being something they should keep up. But for now, especially like I said, with a lot of people kind of returning to the old games, because you have think about it like this: Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It's coming out next month.
Right.
I have seen a lot of people return and playing through the Mass Effect games. Kind of like, okay, I'm gonna play through all these games as kind of like, so we can see this and we can compare and see how much better like these new graphics are and what's changed, and it's more fresh in our mind. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. You figure like with the remake for Resident Evil 3, right, or even 2, I saw a lot of people do the classic games before they played the remake.
Facts.
And I think that's something that's also happening as far as like the stores. They're remaking some of these games and people are like, I want to go back and play the classics first. And those that don't have it are going out and be like, okay, I'm going to buy it. Oh, okay, hey, it's on sale. Oh, since it's so old, it's like $5. I can get that.
Facts. Was you one of those people that went down memory lane, or do you just go straight to the remakes?
It depends on the game.
Right.
There's some games that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to go down memory lane and I'm going to play them again. And then, for example, I've been redoing the Dragon Age series because more news is popping up about Dragon Age 4. So I'm like, well, I know how time consuming those games can be, especially because I try to do everything, all the quests and everything. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go back and replay these games.
108 Dragons TV welcomes 4 guys with quarters.
I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to wait for the Legendary Edition to come out and then take it from there. Okay. So for me, it depends on the game.
Okay. Which is fair because everything ain't for everybody. With me, I'm going to say, before we get into Bloody, when it came to Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, I went straight to the remakes. I didn't want to play the old edition anymore. The only game that I ran through from beginning to end was the Master Chief Collection. and then I noticed how spoiled we are with today's controls, and I said I can't go back. I beat all the
Yeah.
games over again. I beat them multiple times. Halo's my favorite series, but I don't want to play those old controls no more. I'm done. So I just was like, can't be doing that. But all right. Same thing to you, Bloody. Same question. How did you feel about this, and did it affect you, or you just like, they can whatever, move on. Let's go PS5. Let's go PS4. Let's go. How did you feel?
The way that I feel about it is that there's still at least enough love for these consoles. People, absolutely, that the Vita died really quickly because they just stopped supporting it. But
Right.
the thing is that, the fact is that there was still a lot of appreciation for the Vita as a handheld from third-party developers and even from the community. It's just the fact that Sony just didn't continue to invest into it. And I said before that they have a habit of not either fully supporting something and just kind of letting it die off on its own, and then just kind of scalping whatever technology they put into it to use otherwise. Look at the touch controls on the Vita, how that played into the PS4.
Absolutely amazing. Facts.
Yeah.
It was the Switch before it was the Switch.
Yeah.
Yep. But like I said, look at how they had the touchpad on the back, how they utilized that for the touchpad on the 4, but then again, they really didn't utilize it much and just kind of made it a gimmick. They have a habit of taking all these little things and be like, all right, well, let's just throw this on there. Well, what are you going to use it for? I don't know. And that's kind of why the Vita didn't get the support that it could have had.
Well,
as for the PS3,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
As for the PS3, there was a lot of great games on the PS3 era that are locked to the PS3. And if they shut down these servers, a lot of those games are going to get lost. And they're not supporting emulation in any way. Look at how they dropped emulation from the PS2 in the PS3 era. They had it on the original first iteration of the console, or the fat PS3. But when they started making the slims and reiterating it, they're like, hey, we can't do the emulation software anymore. You can't use your PS2 disc. And then PS4 came around and like, all right, well, we'll maybe make it with the streamable aspect of it when they introduce PS Now. But even then, it's still very small.
These are the facts.
The fact is that, yeah, they're keeping these stores alive. But as Akuma mentioned, for how long? Yeah, I think that I agree that right now their focus has always been on consoles, and they're trying to get everyone on a PS5.
Facts.
And then after that, when they end the support, there won't be as big of a complaint. But the issue is that you can go out and buy those games, but you're not going to be able to do much if you don't have that hardware. And they're not allowing the current gen hardware now to be able to go back and support those. They're not trying to do what Microsoft is doing with really investing and trying to put in towards emulation technology to be able to go back and play these old games. Look at the fact that the Series X and started with the One X, we can go back and play OG Xbox games, almost 15 years old kind of games on the hardware, whether it's digital or physical. Why isn't PlayStation doing that? They have a longer history. They have a lot more classic games that are beloved. Why would they not want to support that? Why would they not do that? And that's where this issue is. Yeah, it's great that they brought the stores back, but in the long run, they don't care. It's just a Band-Aid over an open wound. They're not going to do anything more than just say, yeah, we're going to keep these on until they have more people.
Sounds like shots fired in here. Damn. They don't care. Damn.
If you read
they don't care.
The statement that Jim Ryan came out with was very half-hearted and half-assed. He's just like, oh, we didn't realize people wanted this. He's like, I will go ahead and keep these stores open for now, but we're still going to get rid of PSP. Makes sense for PSP. PSP is almost 20 years old. But the same thing is, y'all stopped supporting it a long time ago, and that doesn't even have active third-party support anymore. That's fine. But at least with that one, you can go out and still use the physical no matter what. You don't have to worry so much about that store or anything compared to how the Vita was built.
Facts.
And that's where the issue is. They're not actively trying to do anything. The reason, you know what people are doing now? Is they're just going to jailbreak the Vita. That's what people are doing for the past 5 years.
No. The PS Vita is jailbroken. It's not what they're gonna do now. It's been that's the whole thing about the store being important, because the modders care. There's no new customers to the Vita. The modders give a damn because they got a jailbroken Vita, and let's not get it twisted. The system didn't do well when it was out. The Vita came out. The first
Outside
6
of
games
Japan.
was the best games.
Outside of Japan, it did well in Japan, but outside of that, it did not.
Japan don't count. They got like 17 people that bought multiple games. You know, Japan is a very game-driven, eccentric community. They'll buy a PlayStation and buy every Final Fantasy and nothing else. Or they'll buy a PlayStation and buy every Persona. They don't have a generation of people that are multi-game oriented. That's just how they're built. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they like a specific genre, I want JRPGs. They don't want action RPGs. You know, they just want JRPGs. That's how Japan's mental is with gaming. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not mad because every region is not supposed to be the same, but that's how they built. Because remember, when the numbers came out, I don't know if you remember this, like 99 or 2000, and they was talking about the Japanese gamer, and it was like the average Japanese gamer has three different games, but they're in the same genre. I was like, what? Because in Europe, no, I'm not saying that it can't change or it hasn't changed. What I'm saying is their persona and how they play games. You know, like you got people that bought systems and just say, I'm playing only Yakuza, every Yakuza game. They don't go play Gran Turismo. They don't play God of War because God of War doesn't sell in Japan. Neither does Uncharted. Those are Western style games. But that's just the market that they created. There's no disrespect to at all.
But that's what I'm saying though, is that with the stores just being the way that they are, is like a lot more people are going out to focus on, especially with the handhelds, jailbreaking, because then they don't need the store, because the fact that they're able to get the only reason they need the store is someone is getting the code for the game to download it, and then they're basically modding it and putting it out there
exactly,
so everyone can download it. But they're trying to just get as much as they can. But the fact is, at this point, they're like, all right, the store's on a timeline. We're gonna jailbreak it, basically get as much of these games out there so that way people are able to play it no matter what. The biggest issue is their main storefront, which is PS3, which is tied to PS4 and going in. Because you can't even access the PS3 store on the website. If you go like on Microsoft's website, guess what? I could still go to the 360 store and buy OG Xbox or 360 games if I want to. Just like I can do it directly from my Xbox.
Facts.
Why isn't PlayStation doing the same thing? Because they're not supporting the emulation because they don't care.
Okay, shots fired. This dude is, you know, he's not playing. He's a Japanese enthusiast on every channel he's on. Shout out to Smash Podcast and Super G and Oppie Op. You know, I miss y'all show. Can't wait for it to return. We're gonna get into my man, Six Slayer, man. What is your opinion on this situation? I know it's not a major situation for everybody, but tell me if tell me your thoughts.
I think you're about to be the odd man out in this situation because I agree with Bloody and Akumu. First and foremost, I got my Vita here. I think I'm holding it upside down.
Yeah, but you're the emulation king, aka my name is Little. Your name is Little Mame. You know
that's not.
I've been calling that since I know you.
Hush, my turn to speak though. I'm just saying that's not why I bought it for. I bought it to play games on it, just like most other people. And when they shut down the store for no real economic reason on the player's part, it's more on Sony's part. I gotta agree with what Akumu said.
Okay.
It's business. It's not personal, but it doesn't make sense. We understand now when they reversed their decision, and shout out to them. You know they did reverse their decision, but once again, like Bloody said, it was half-hearted when Microsoft reversed their decision with the Xbox Live situation. We were on GRG Live when I dropped that news, breaking news, and I was reading the the announcement. It sounded heartfelt and real, like they realized their mistake. In contrast to Sony's announcement, not really. It was a typical corporate, with excuses and blah blah.
A business decision. They're looking at the money they're making versus should we keep this alive. It's a business decision.
And nobody's gonna be mad about that aspect of it. However, it's the continuing notion of you have these games, you have a history. They don't care about their history. And you know who cares about the history a lot more besides just the gamers, obviously? It's the modders and the pirates. Because the modders and the pirates were going to be the ones who are going to benefit when the stores were shut down.
Facts.
Because you can't buy the games.
They shut them down. They shut them down with this announcement. Facts.
Right. So now you have to mod your systems if you want to continue to get these games and stuff if you didn't already get them.
Right.
And there was a rush to get hardware because everybody knows what's about to go down.
Right.
So even the PS TV, long before this happened, that's already an expensive thing to pick up. If you look on eBay or whatever, that costs a lot of money. A couple $100 for a little PlayStation Vita with no screen that's attached to your TV instead.
Facts.
That's a big deal. So yeah, it's cool that they brought it back. But once again, Sony has no respect for their history. We've heard what Jim Ryan has had to say on that.
Yeah. We're gonna get into another situation
that.
right after this. Another but hold on a sec. It's not really. I don't agree with any of this because I'm not vested in the platform. When I bought Vita and I seen them start backing off, I immediately got rid of it because they just cut ties with the console. But I don't feel no ways. I just think it was a topic and I want to discuss it. Just for the record, PK, the most electrifying light-skinned brother on the internet. What's good? Talk to me.
So I just want to say, I kind of disagree with your assessment.
It's not my assessment.
Okay. Well, your statement
about Japanese people don't buy multiple style of games. They don't.
No. Let me.
That's what I said. I ain't got nothing to do with the store. Let's clean that up here.
I'm talking about the modders needing the store. The point is the modders never needed the store on any platform because that's the point.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you now.
When you mod I don't care if it's Xbox, Switch, whatever. Whenever you mod, you can't connect to the store anymore. That's even true on the iDevice.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You can't connect to the store anymore. So they don't need it per se. It's for the people who legitly want access to the games. And yes, the point of the PSP store going away is because it's part of a legacy server. It's part of the legacy PS2, PSP. They're shared servers, just like the PSP and the PS3 are shared servers.
Right.
So if they're going to shut one down, they got to shut them both down because they're part of the same legacy servers. So in PlayStation's mindset, it's better to, just like Nintendo, it's better to get rid of that than to continue to allow access because they have to pay to keep this afloat.
Right.
Which is not gaining them anything.
That's my point. It's about the business side. It's not really do they care, which we know they don't care. But Sony's about that business. If we not generating no money, we ain't keeping this alive. You know what I'm saying? That's my point. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying, and on another side of it, it's like the cost that it would take to migrate that to newer hardware, newer infrastructure. It's just not worth it. So at some point, it will phase out.
Facts.
That's what it is.
Facts.
Do they have a plan
These are the
offer
facts.
these titles in the future? I'm sure at some capacity, but it won't be what you think. It will be more or less kind of like how Nintendo does it or how PS Now is, right? It's going to be contained within their controlled environment where you can't own it, but pay for a license to use it for a time.
Facts.
Whatever that time looks like. So it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. That's why people do mod and emulate, etc., because it's too much red tape. And yes, since specifically Sony doesn't believe in emulation, it's just not going to happen going forward. So it's unfortunate, even with them reversing it, it's not going to be forever.
It's only to July 2nd.
And definitely it's because they're trying to get rid of some legacy servers sitting out there.
Facts.
I mean, it could be, we don't know what's running those stores. I mean, legitly, it could be sitting on server 2003 servers, which are, EOL or, end of life.
Right.
We have no idea. But at the end of the day, that's what I speculate based on the movement that they're making. They're not making no money keeping those stores open. Yes, there are still fans.
Right, they're damn sure not making no money, but they're not making no change.
But
they're still making Vita games. In fact, Shuhei Yoshida had tweeted out some new game the day before they announced that they were shutting down the stores. So there's still new software coming
Well,
out.
it doesn't.
Not enough to make money though.
So that doesn't
According
matter
to Sony, anyway.
because at the end of the day, cost and security to keep this open or to transfer it over is, if you weigh the bad with good, it's kind of like let's just cut it off and start over fresh, whatever that looks like. Now they
Facts.
can very well do the right thing and just recreate a new store on their current hardware and offer these titles as a download emulation. They can
Facts.
easily do that. You know, I remember even on the PS3 you could download PSP games. I mean, come on, they can do it. It's just do they want to?
If it
But
ain't
no,
Sony's about that money. If it ain't a beneficial buck, they don't support it.
it's gonna be. It's what it's gonna come down to. Is it worth it to them to invest? So at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but it's just it's the reality of anyone who owns PlayStation and even Nintendo.
108 Dragons TV welcomes Graphic
Nintendo's always
God.
been about backwards compatibility. The problem with them is they changed their format, which makes it impossible for them to continue to support it. Not because they don't want to, but because of their format changes.
But you know why they do that? They do that so they can monopolize the money side of it. They want to keep their proprietary form factor to what they want to narrate. That's why they do that.
I mean, yeah.
Nintendo. That's why they do it. That's why they didn't make a CD based system with Sony. They was like, we can't control CDs. That's your technology. They went right back to cartridge.
They do make proprietary formats for a reason.
That's right.
But because of that reason, it makes it impossible to support the backwards compatibility like they always support it at the very least the last generation moving forward. It's until the Wii used the last system that they did that with, right? The last system. Now the Switch is completely different. Went back to cartridge. Maybe the next system will still be cartridge and can still.
I hope it keeps the same format. I hope so.
But again, that's the main reason. So, hey, at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but I'm just saying, you guys, if you guys are super fans of these older titles, probably best just to invest into a emulator. At the end of the day,
Facts.
Raspberry Pis don't cost much.
Facts.
I actually have one of those.
You know what? Shout out to my boy Graphic God. I'm going to invest in them because there's a couple games I would want. And one of the main reasons I brought this topic up because we have an emulation king in here. Every PC I bought, shout out to Six Layer, he has put MAME on every PC I've built. So for somebody that understands emulation and what it takes to be that type of person, he's definitely the king. He's definitely the best person I know to even he'll come to my house and put maybe like 50 gigs of old games. You know how many games that is at 50 gigs, 60 gigs? That dude has put a lot.
A good game is a good game.
No, but I'm talking about back in the days, the games wasn't big. There was like 300-400 megs, maybe a gig. You put 50 to 60 gigs on every single PC I built with MAME. Arcade versions, home versions. I know how you get down. So, that's the emulation king for me, man. I don't know who else got somebody that could compete with 50, 60 gigs of old content. That's a lot of consoles, and that's a lot of
more than that now.
generations of games covered. I know he was the man, so I wanted to talk about that subject. Now, in terms of developers and things being said, I'm gonna start off with you, Bloody. The Days Gone developer, man, he went out on the market and said, people want sequels for games. I felt with me, I felt a little bit disrespected with his statements. Days Gone had a lot of glitches, aka Cyberpunk 2077, aka EA's Battlefield 4. It was plagued with problems, and he basically said, if you wanted a sequel, you should have paid full price when it came out. And I'm saying, dude, your game was broken, but you want people to still pay. The game is fixed today, almost 5 years, 6 years later. But what did you take from his statements, and did you feel disrespected as a gamer who spends their hard-earned money to support a platform in the game. How did you feel about his statements this past week?
I played Days Gone before it launched because I got to play it at PAX back in 2019. And I thought that the game was interesting, right? It had potential, but I felt even before, because this was a couple months before launch, that I didn't feel that it was completed enough. Like it still had a lot of problems, and I didn't know if they were going to be able to fix it all before launch. Then when it launched, you see how many people talk about how it's broken.
Yeah, it
and
was
stuff like
broken.
that.
No, how many people? No, it was broken.
Yeah, and that's why I said you see how everyone was talking about how it was broken, right?
Right.
There was a lot of people who really were excited for the game and went out and supported it. But there was a lot of people be like, all right, well, it has a lot of problems. I'm going to wait, which is fair. Everyone has the right to say, hey, this game had my attention, but seeing at how bad it is, I'm going to wait until it either one gets patched more or maybe it's on sale. Guess what? They still are going to support you. They're still going to buy the game. You should be happy that someone's even going to throw a $5 at you for your game. If you aren't happy that someone is still willing to pay, it don't matter if it's on sale, that they're still willing to buy your game, then you don't care about what it is that you do because you see as everyone as a dollar sign and not as someone in your community who's supporting your damn vision.
Facts.
There's so many other developers out there, smaller too, that are just like, hey, guess what? We just made a game. Only 500 people bought it. Thanks to those 500 people who bought the game because we didn't think that it was going to even be interested to anyone. The fact is, you are being funded by Sony. They're the ones you should have a problem with. Yes, it may not have made the sales that they wanted, but that's on them for setting such high expectations.
Right.
You
and being a Sony first party, which is expected to be close to flawless.
Yeah. But the fact is that, one, they try to make the game out to be more than what it was. Yes, it was a big budget experience, but it shouldn't have been touted as this next great AAA. Like, the thing is, people put so much emphasis on being a AAA style game that if it doesn't meet AAA style expectations, it's immediately a failure and they write it off. Look at specifically what they did with State of Decay 2. Yes, they said that it had some AAA aspects, but they were still focusing on the fact that it was a AA, smaller title, but having a bigger budget than when the first game came out. And what happened? Yes, it launched with bugs. It had problems, but guess what? They supported the game
and still do today.
And still do today.
Facts.
They were appreciative for how fast that the game grew compared to the first one, which was an arcade title on the 360 and only had a small impact. It didn't sell millions of copies.
It wasn't supposed to. Basically, it was an indie title.
And they said, hey, would y'all like to do more with it and have a bigger budget? They did. It was still broken because they were still trying to use an older engine. But look at how they were able to improve upon it, get more resources, more tools, and now look at what they're planning for State of Decay 3. That's how you know a studio
a growth
publisher
system.
has faith in you.
Right.
I was like, what Sony did to Studio Bend was that they didn't really give enough faith because they didn't really care as soon as they didn't meet the expectations. They didn't say, hey, if y'all can at least do this and show what y'all are capable of, yeah, we can look at what y'all do next. And the fact is, he's taking his frustration out with his publisher on the community. You shouldn't do that. Look at how many other directors or personalities have said and talked crap to their community, and look at how much it backfired. Look, we all have a love-hate relationship with Cliffy B. He created one of our favorite franchises with Gears. But look at what happened when he went and did his own thing, right? When he made, what was that game?
Lawbreakers.
Yeah.
And look at what happened with that. He totally badmouthed.
And then he blamed everybody else.
Yeah, he badmouthed the Xbox community. Said, "Hey, we want to play your game," and he's just like, "Well, thank y'all for wanting to play it," but he's like, "Y'all just give me more publicity over on PlayStation." And look at how quickly the servers died out. He canceled the project, and then he's just like, "Okay, well, this is everyone else's fault." It's like, no. You disrespected the people who helped build you up and were wanting to continue to support you because you went after money, and then the publisher who helped you fund it dropped you off real quick. This is what happens when some of these developers get egos instead of staying humble. If you respect what you do, love what you do, and have a community that follows you, they'll help you. They'll support whatever you do. Yes, it's
Facts.
not always going to be a massive success. We've seen it with others. Look at what happened with Kaiji Inafune, right?
These are the
He tried to
facts.
make a Mega Man successor, spiritual successor, with what he did with Mighty Number 9. But guess what? He wasn't focused on that project. He wasn't fully in that project. Look at how
It was
Mighty
terrible.
Number 9 did.
Terrible.
It
Terrible.
promised too much.
Terrible,
Yeah, it
terrible.
overpromised,
It did.
underdelivered.
It did. And that's what happens. But now
Okay.
we see that there's others who are absolutely saying, you know what? Look at Igarashi. He absolutely loved what he did with Castlevania. Konami wasn't given the respect to Castlevania. He said, you know what? I don't need you. I'm going to go and do my own thing. He created Bloodstained. And now what? Bloodstained has outdone Castlevania in more ways. And people are just like, yo, Igarashi's back. This is what we want.
Yep.
That's how
Bro.
you support, because you're giving love to the community who built up what you did. You don't need an IP. You need your community. If you
Facts.
can't support and respect them, no one's going to support your IP.
Okay.
That's just what it is.
Okay. Okay. Sick. Give me your thoughts on this disrespectful statement from this dude who blamed the community for his game's non-success in the beginning. Talk to me. What
Well,
you thought about
apparently
that?
he's not at that publisher or developer anymore, and all I can say is, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Like, what a moron! Like,
Oh
you
my
have
God, this
your
dude is
user base,
disrespectful.
People want to buy your game, but you release a broken game day one. What do you expect? You expect us to buy a broken game at full price?
Very
No one
broken.
does that. No one does that. No one does that.
I spent
Unless
$100 and
you're a
something
big
on
fan
the
of the
collector's
title.
edition with that motorcycle and all that.
Hey,
And I ain't even touched the game because it was broken.
hey. Oh, doesn't your wallet hurt now, huh?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
I was really
You
hurt.
know?
That and Last of Us, but we ain't talking about Last of Us, but they both was broke. You was shooting people in Last of Us with no arms. I was like,
this
damn, all
dude
you saw
needs
was
to
the
increase
gun.
his water intake because he sounds real salty to me. He better watch his blood pressure. Like, what? You attack the people who's gonna buy your game? I listen. Whatever project he's behind next, I'm purposely not buying it. I don't care how good.
Yeah,
it is.
because he insulted the people. Okay, I got you.
That's stupid. It's just like, what? And on top of that, it's the Unreal Engine. Not that it makes it easier, but it's definitely a help. Like, you couldn't get the performance right. You had all this money, all this access from Sony and all of that. They put you on the pedestal and you dropped the ball big. You
Facts.
fumbled big time. Like, this is just pathetic. And everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. In my mind, he probably ruined his reputation in this industry forevermore.
Yeah,
He's probably done.
Yeah,
He's probably
yeah.
done. And bye, sucker. That's all I gotta say on that. I could say more, but
Akumo,
knocked it out.
tell me, did you have an opinion on this guy insulting the gaming community because his game didn't initially sell and he blamed us for lackluster sales? Talk to me. What's your opinion on this?
Like they were saying, I understand the frustration, but he's taking it out on the wrong people.
Mm.
You know, he needs to, and he could express it better, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if the studio screwed you or whatever. You know, that's still not something that you just come out and say.
Right.
Especially in a business sense, you need tact. You need tact to get anywhere.
Right.
Right. So that I get, but like I said, taking it out on the wrong people, absolutely. Not saying it correctly is another thing. But yeah, like kind of expecting people to buy it day one, when like Nux had brought up the fact that he got to kind of play some before the game even came out. You know, other people obviously are there playing the game, and if they're seeing how buggy it is, people are going to lose faith, because there was one game that I got to try when I went to E3 one year. You know, I get to try the game or whatever, and it's like, I mean, the concept's cool, the game's buggy, and it's one of those, you're still planning to release it in a week? Are you sure about that?
Right.
Right. So that's the thing. So me personally, I was like, okay, still coming out in a week. I'm gonna wait because I got to try it.
Right.
I was not
Just
happy
don't look
with
like
what
a
I
week
tried.
away from a release. Don't look polished. Right.
Right, exactly. So it's just like, you know, I ain't happy with what I played. So why am I going to spend my money especially for those who might not be able to, afford brand new games, especially depending on when it comes out. It's just like, if you have like three other games coming out in that same month, and you're just like, are you going to play the game that you know is buggy and you don't have the faith in? Are you going to go for another game?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then
Mhm.
you're going to wait and see what other people say. Is it still buggy? Did they manage to miraculously clean it up in like this week? Right. Or this month? Did they clean it up? Oh, they did. All right. Maybe I'll give it a shot now.
Right.
Right. So for something like that, and for him to be like, yeah, no, you should have bought it day one. No.
And blame.
There's games that have literally been out like 3-4 months that just start getting traction. And the thing is, they're like I was talking about, they're still, thank you so much for buying our game. Look at Among Us. That game had come out like 2 years ago or something, and it just recently had blown up.
Blown up, right?
And they're still like, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hey, people love our games. And they're putting more effort and more love into it, and
it's growing. It's grown a community.
Right,
it's grown a following. Right.
Right, and it's absolutely grown. Sometimes things take time, but the thing is to understand, okay, I still have y'all support, because even if it took like a year for the game, there's been studios that literally have shelved, and they'll be like, okay, we're done with this. But then the community, gets into the game, they kind of rise up, and that's something they can bring and be like, look, this is what people want. We have the numbers here. I mean, like I said, if you want to look at it from a strictly business perspective, it's like I said, people can go and you can show, here are the numbers. Here's what the community wants.
Right.
Here's the people that are saying that, we want this. Right. I mean, again, I know I talked about it earlier, but Mass Effect community crazy loves of Mass Effect, been wanting like upgraded graphics forever now. Now what do we have? We have the Legendary Edition coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They back their consumers, they back their community, and in turn, the community is giving them that support. They're giving them that. Yeah, people are still. They're still kind of like the Dragon Age 4. People are disappointed, but they're still showing them the support. So the project is still going through despite all the bumps in the road, right?
Facts.
Despite this person leaving and this person leaving and having to switch this, but they're still working because the community still go behind them like, hey, we believe in you. We want this game. Y'all can do it.
Right.
Right. So that's where what he's failing to realize. He just looks at it. We sold, 100 copies on launch day. Okay, that's it. We're done.
And before we go to the last man, the finisher of the game, Mr. PK, most electrifying entertainer on the planet, I'm gonna say this: Cliff Belinsky, this dude here, Hideo Kojima, their last game of peace, right? They didn't get what they wanted, and they immediately threw us under the bus. Oh, we don't know what art is. We should have bought it. I don't need your support. I'm on PlayStation. No matter the comments, but if you insult the people that spend their hard money, some people take that personally. And they won't even support your next project. So my message to those three guys is humble yourself. You had plenty of success in the past, but you want to have more success into the future. And without pointing fingers, maybe you should look at the mirror and say, you know what? Maybe I didn't provide the experience that I offered back in the days as a developer and a producer to give my community that supports me a game that they would appreciate or a game that they would love. So I just think these dudes need to humble themselves. Your past success is your past success. I don't care what Cliff Belinsky did with Gears. I thank him for that. He changed the whole demographic of 360 having 256 megabits of RAM to goddamn 512. He's definitely a smart guy. But the comments that you make can bury you. And I think lawbreakers might be the end for him. Now, with that being said, PK, what did you think about the situation, and what do how was your feelings about this? Well, being blamed.
I mean, he's in his feelings, and it's no different than the director of the second Star Wars movie blaming the fans for not liking what he did to the movie.
Facts. That's 100% correct. That's a fact.
Sometimes, even as game creators and developers, you have to understand that just because this is your vision doesn't mean everybody's going to like it.
Or be able to understand it. You got to get it too.
The point is, you're making a game for other people to enjoy. So you got to remember, people got to pick this up and enjoy it.
Right.
You can't force this on anybody. And you better make sure that you do it right, especially for a new IP. At the very least, you got to be able to sell it to the people so that they will have the patience to wait for you to iron out any
Right. Initial
issues with it.
impressions. Initial impressions.
So let's just back up. State of Decay 2 was mentioned. That game is $30 launched. There's not much investment into that, even if it
Facts.
was broken. And it was on Game Pass. There is a lot of investment for the PlayStation games because they don't have a Game Pass equivalent. Plus, they're always going to be 50 and above. That means you committing to a brand new game you have no idea is going to be good or not.
You think too with State of Decay, not only what it was one of the first early games for being in Game Pass, but also had its Ultimate Edition.
Well,
All of its features.
it came with the first. If you bought it, they gave you the first one for free.
Yeah, they gave you the first one for free, but they also was also one of the first games where they were starting to play with, hey, we're gonna do the Ultimate Editions that come with everything, and I think even its Ultimate Edition was what, $50, like less than still a brand new game, and it came with everything that came afterwards.
And I love State of Decay. I love that game to this day. I'm just gonna say
Excellent
that
co-op game. Excellent.
It's a different conversation. Um, you know, the same thing should go for. I know we talked about Kojima, but why hasn't Sony signed him up for a Death Stranding too?
Because the first one didn't make no money.
Well,
It flopped.
That's a rhetorical question. My point
I know.
is,
I know. I just like to say it out loud because some people
my
forget.
point is, it doesn't matter if the game is broken. I mean, it matters, but at the end of the day, what really matters is what is the attachment rate? Did you make this game for everyone to enjoy or just for you to flex? Because at the end of the day, even with Cliff making his version of Overwatch, he made it clear that he was only putting this on PlayStation. And he'll think about putting it on Xbox. His attitude, his demeanor. But what's worse is the game was not fun. It's not even just the PlayStation guys. The PC guys didn't like it, right? It was not a fun game. It was a terrible game, and he made it based on the fact that he thinks his name carries weight. The only reason this man has money is because he invested into that Oculus before it got bought by Facebook. If it wasn't for that, he would have no bread. But because of him, a lot of people lost their jobs and was hungry during the holiday season because he had shut the doors on his production company because he made 2 flops.
Facts.
2, he tried to make a Fortnite game too, by the way, which did not go anywhere. My thing is, these guys' egos are bigger than themselves, and that's just part of the problem. They need to humble themselves, kind of like what 108 talks about, and bring their ego down to a level where they have to be gamers. They have to be gamers. You can't be. Listen, and I know we're not talking about the same one of
These
the
are the
topics, but the
facts.
reason why the Jeff Kaplan deal is so large, he is basically the Phil Spencer of Blizzard, dude. He cared about the gamers. He was a gamer first. And before he was the vice president of Blizzard and the game director of Overwatch, this man was a gamer first. This is why that game had such high quality because he cared. When you bought Overwatch, you didn't have to pay for the characters. You didn't have to pay for the stages. You didn't even have to pay for the skins necessarily. Everything was provided for the gamer. He wanted to create a space where everyone can enjoy themselves. That was the point. That's why that game brand new IP, by the way, got Game of the Year twice, and went so far. And that's what I'm saying. If you're on the side where you feel like your ideals are just not being understood, and you feel like gamers or even the publisher is the problem, then your ego is too big for your own good, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a gamer first. You have to understand your audience. And yes, every game ain't for everybody. I'm not saying there's not people who like Death Stranding, but let's just be honest. There's a majority of people who did not. And that is the point. You're selling the game to the majority, not a niche community. You want to make sure that you're trying to get new people on board, not just get a cult following just because your name on something is supposed to be SHIT. That's not how it
Right.
works.
Right.
So I mean, I don't feel no type of way about about the game. I mean, I put the game on my wish list on Steam. If somebody want to buy it, then that's cool. I'm not paying for it myself.
Wow.
I'm just being honest. I'm not going to. I
I
had I feel like even when it was on PlayStation, I skipped it. I played. I was very very intentional on the games I bought for PlayStation 4. And that's only because, like we talked about earlier, the backwards compatibility support is non-existent. You don't know what you can trust. Should
Mm-hmm.
you invest into or not? You really gotta be selective on what kind of money, or at least I am. I mean, everybody else, not me, but I am on what am I spending my money on. Like I know when I buy Switch games, I need to buy the hard copy because Nintendo more than likely is not going to support the digital moving
Switch
forward.
police are on deck.
So I need to have the hard copy.
Mm-hmm.
Now we sitting in a situation with a PlayStation that if you're, you know, you got a C bomb. If your motherboard battery dies, you might lose out on playing even a hard copy. So
Facts.
you got a situation here. So all I'm saying is for me, when it comes to developers or anybody that's in the gaming industry that is in the creative side. I don't care if you animators, I don't care if you game directors, I don't care what you are. Even I can even go as far as a community managers. You have to understand what it's like to be a gamer first, and
Mm.
understand because your game's supposed to invoke an emotion that makes people want to continue to play your game. And if
Got
it's
you.
not doing that, then there's a problem with you and your game direction,
Facts.
not them.
Not the community. Facts. I got you. 100% agree, man. I just feel like, for these dudes to come out there, like I said, to insult us as gamers because you didn't get exactly what you want, it sounds like you're being a baby. Because you have so much success.
And I'm sorry to
And the
cut you
first
off, but
time,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying. Jeff Kaplan left, but you didn't see this man blaming nobody. He's
facts.
one of the top dudes. He's
Facts.
actually being more quiet than he should be because it looks crazy. It looks sus. I'm gonna be honest,
Facts.
but
Facts.
he is not
and
pointing fingers. He's not trashing the company. He's not doing none of
He
that.
bowed out gracefully. Jay-Z status. Fade to the black, baby. Go.
and PK, you bring up a good point. You think that he was also the head director and helping lead the project for Overwatch 2.
Right
So
in the middle of the
it's
daggone
development.
development.
Yep. And that game's supposed to come out what, in a year or two?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But the fact is that was still in the works. And you're having the second highest person at the company overall of Blizzacti with one of your biggest IPs for the biggest sequel that y'all have coming, bow out.
Facts.
Wow.
Facts.
I mean, he brought 120 a 120 mode to Xbox. I know it's not on PlayStation only because they can't do it, but the point is he brought it because he felt the gamers wanted it. He wanted to
Yes, we
to
did.
blur the
Thank you.
lines.
Thank you. Now we're gonna go into the next subject, man. Before we get into that, man, chat. I'm reading all these chats. Y'all are lit. Y'all should give yourselves a round of applause. Y'all are awesome, man. And it's so humbling to have y'all here, coming out here, giving me your time, giving us your time, and just being who y'all are, man. And We're gonna keep these topics rolling. We appreciate y'all, and share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, man. And from the bottom of my heart and my team that rock with me, man, we appreciate everybody. I see y'all on Twitch. I see you on YouTube, and I damn sure see you on Facebook. I see y'all in the building. I just love always. You get in the chat. You have a question, do anything. You don't have to super chat here. Just say what you want, and I'll try to respond, or somebody on the panel will try to respond. And this is the gamer. This is the channel where the gamers got the voice. But that being said, we're gonna move into the next topic, man. And we don't get into the contra BS, man. We don't got to keep it long on this situation. But these Capcom documents that's been leaked, that's trying to shut down Xbox full capabilities on this Resident Evil 8. Bloody, we're gonna start with you. Please don't go forever. I'm just saying, son. Please, just give us an overview. Do you believe? Do you not believe? What's this fabricated? Are there facts? Just give us your opinion. Tell me what you think about the situation with this whole Capcom debacle, man. Do you believe in these documents?
I'm not gonna say that I believe in them, but I'm not gonna say I don't believe in them. There's a hint of possibility that they could be real based on the language in them, seeing as that I've helped write contracts. Biggest person I can give y'all to go and check out. Mad respect and love to Hoglaw. Go check him out. He has a video called Virtual Legality. He
That's
goes
right.
in depth on these. Good friend. I was like, he's an awesome dude. He breaks down if this is real, what kind of language it uses, what kind of possibilities that it causes, based on the clauses and parity that's stated in it. He goes in depth. But basically, if this is real and they're making these kinds of contracts, that's some serious aggressive but underhanded tactics on keeping parity. Parity should be up to choice from the developers if they're making a multi-plat game. But if you're going for marketing rights, but you're putting in these deep exclusivity clauses for not just a small remainder, because he's in it, game can't be out for a year on any other streaming device. But the fact that the game can't get improvements for almost the entire generation, 7 years, unless yours gets first, that's really putting a lot of pressure on some of these companies not updating these games later on because they can't. They're being held back.
You hit it right on the nose, baby. My boy is on fire.
So because of that,
These are the facts.
These developers aren't going to want to fix these games. They're not going to go out and do any extra additions. They're not going to do any enhanced modes, whether it's graphics or frame rate, because of the contract that they're signed, if this is true, again, because of their hardware limitations. And they don't want anyone else being able to do anything about it. So anyone, whether you're on PC or Xbox, having hardware that can push these games further, you're not going to get it from an official capacity.
Okay.
And that's where it's bad, especially with the fact of what came out about Monster Hunter. And you see how big Monster Hunter became for Capcom, and you're telling them to, one, push it back and sabotage their PC launch and not support
it's Monster Hunter is part of the two-man game that brought them back. That was Resident Evil and Monster Hunter. Made the company turn around from when they was damn near bankrupt. So okay. I got that. Akumu, talk to me, sister. What you think about this? Or did it affect you? Did you wonder, like, what the hell? What's going on with you?
With all leaks, right? There's that curiosity. It's human nature, and we want to know: is it true or is it not? We can go digging for more. We can wait for more updates. I always err on I'm gonna take it with what they say, a grain of salt, right? Because I have seen both. I have seen leaks come out and been 100% or close to it, or even just 50%. And I've seen leaks come out that are so far off base that it's like, where did you pull this from?
Right.
So for me, I'm just kind of okay, I see it, I hear y'all, but I'm just kind of just waiting, right? I'm just I'm just gonna let this slide by, because for me, I'm just I've seen both sides.
108 Dragons TV welcomes everyone.
I'm one of those still that it's okay, I get it, I see the leaks, but at the same time, I'm also well, in case it's true, I want to take a step back because I don't want to be like, oh well, yeah, this came out then. I remember that. It's kind of the whole thing on staying away from spoilers, right? Even if you're
Mhm.
not sure if it's true or not. So as far as this goes, I just kind of took like a hands-off approach. I'm like, okay, well, there's the leaks. Kind of looked into it briefly, but then was kind of like, you know what? I'm just like, I'm not gonna mess with it.
Right.
I'm like,
Okay.
this is something that I'm just not gonna mess with because who knows? I mean, you have, and I'll say you have great sources. I'm not even gonna lie. There are great sources out there that will leak and be on point. And
And then
so
some is just
on the off
hogwash.
chance, I kind of want to be that little kid that sticks their finger in the ears and be like, I can't hear nothing, right? Because
Facts,
I'm just like,
facts, facts, facts.
so I kind of took a kind of hands off approach to this one. I'm just like, all right, the leaks are there. That's what people are saying. I don't want to know no more.
Right. It's like whatever. Tired of
Yeah.
this. Okay. Yo, sick. Talk to me.
Just want to make sure I wasn't muted there. You know, this sounds like Sony. It smells like Sony. It's the typical Sony thing. They pay for an advantage all the time. Okay, a lot of people are talking about this in the chat. Mr. King points out Monster Hunter World on Xbox
I
One
saw
X
that. I
versus
saw him
the
say
PS4
that.
Pro.
Shout out to Mr.
There's
Kima,
also-
always supporting.
Always supporting. And on the more recent Call of Duty games, right? We know the difference in the hardware. We know what's in these boxes, okay? And a lot of these games are also on PC, where there's a lot more varied hardware we could benchmark and test. So even before this was announced or leaked or revealed or whatever, this is what I always believed, right? And then I saw the headline. Even before I read anything, I saw the headline. I'm like, duh, because this is what I've always thought. And so, yeah, there's a bit in the back of my mind that's saying maybe it's not true or whatever. But when folks like Hogue Law looks at this and says it looks real to him, it looks pretty real to him, and he thinks it might be true. When you look at all the moves that's happened in history ever since Sony's been in this game, particularly in PlayStation 2 era, because with the PS1, all they really competed against was the Saturn and the N64. They really have to to put in these little situations. But ever since then, they've been competing against the Xbox and Nintendo. This is what they do. You see the writing on the wall all the time. You see the examples in games. So to me, this is just another day in the life of Sony. This is what they do. So I don't know how this is legal. I don't know how this can be allowed, because Nintendo did a similar thing way back in the day with the Nintendo. If you publish for a Nintendo, you can only release a certain number of games every year.
But last generation, I want to bring this up. Sorry to cut you off, but Sony did that with the Xbox One X.
Yes, exactly.
When they started noticing, wait a minute, the Pro is not in the same level, and they started doing that. Then this is why I thought it was good, not good, but this is why I believe that this happened, because it's not the first time they've done that.
Exactly.
But they try to keep a resolution off another system to show the difference. They try to do parity. And some of these developers did parody because they was fans of PlayStation, whereas other developers said, we're not doing that. And they came out and blatantly said, but continue, I'm sorry. Just wanted to point that out.
Not every situation is the example, but there's been plenty of examples on the last generation. But back to what I was saying about Nintendo. Look up Nintendo versus Atari. Okay, they lost in Supreme Court over this. Because if you remember in the early days in the Genesis, let's say Goes and Ghosts, right? It says at the bottom, reprogrammed by Sega. It's a Capcom game. But Sega did the port because Capcom wasn't allowed to. Street Fighter 2 was on Nintendo for that whole year and a half before they made a Genesis version. And this was after the court case. Okay, now Capcom made it, because at first Sega was making the version. In fact, the Sega version was leaked last year on the internet. Right. So there's the evidence of that. This is history. This has happened before. It's going to happen again. And this is it's typical Sony. I've always known they would do this. And I mean, who really questions it? Is this leak exactly true or whatever? Maybe, maybe not. But let's not forget, Capcom was hacked into. Okay, a lot of private information was leaked out. So, and this happened right after that. It gives even a lot more credence to this. Now, it could still not be true, but that's a lot
I
of
just don't put it past them.
coincidences. Right, don't put it past them at all. And there's a lot of evidence out there
Right.
that's making it look like they did. And when you walk like a duck, and you quack like a duck, and you fly like the duck, you're a freaking duck.
Facts.
Are you a goose?
Before I get into PK, man, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to this Fan Fest mug that got the spout and everything. I'm giving this away, man, to a lucky subscriber. But if you show interest in the chat that you would like to win this, let me know. And maybe next week, during next week's Dragons Den podcast, I will announce the winner. But if you want that Fan Fest mug, that is something that your boy Lemon is giving out. Usually I give out codes, just drop them in the chats. But yeah, if you're a subscriber, listen, you like that cup, Fan Fest. Let's get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Get in those. Yo, bloody, you can't be cheating. I saw you put Fan Fest.
Hey, I'm just typing it up.
So
I
if you like to be entered for a chance to win this, it's nice, man. It's metal. It's real nice.
Water bottle, not a
You know what I'm saying? I'm giving that away on the channel, man. We try to do humble things here at 108 Dragons TV, Dragons Den, and yeah, just let me put that out there. PK, talk to me. The most electrifying information man on the planet. The man that give people at Marvel the great interviews and asking them great questions and bringing that energy to Four Guys in Corners. Facts. Let's go. What you got for me, bro?
Yeah, so
You got a double intro today. It's crazy.
Oh, here it goes.
I guess that's why he was calling me crazy on G yesterday.
so I feel like I hit a nerve. You keep bringing that up, man.
Yeah, you kind of did, but it's okay. I'm not crazy. I'm just a little off. I'm not completely crazy, just a little off.
He's all the way crazy. Don't lie.
I don't mean nothing but love. So
Facts. Facts. I'm only teasing, sir.
relax.
I'm only
I don't
teasing.
mean no harm. Far as this, far as this document, it can definitely be legal. I mean, any contractual agreement can be legal if you sign it and agree to the terms. It is what it is. So it's not unheard of. The question is, after reading all 11 pages, which I did, 11 pages, um, it's a little difficult to say that this is fraudulent because I mean, who would take time to write 11 page and then forge the signature
Right.
of?
Right.
I'm not saying that
Not
it's
saying
real,
it's
but I'm just
facts, but
saying-
you just going off of common sense. I got you.
So there's
mean-
crazy folks out there who might go
I'm
that
not
far,
saying
but,
that. I am a security guy, so for me, I have to validate all the data. I don't just go by what's said, even though it looks pretty damning. But again, my question is, why haven't they came out to discredit this whole thing? Neither side. Either the reason why they haven't is because they're in a contractual agreement not to talk about it. And or they just don't care, but I highly doubt that. They're very cognizant of what's going on in the social media realm. Let's be real. This is why they retracted the whole statement with the PS3, PS, the PlayStation Store. This is why Square came out and say, "Hey, nobody's in talks of buying us." They're aware of what's going on. So I don't think they're just ignorant to people talking about it. But it might be the fact that they just can't talk about it. Maybe they do have some sort of contractual agreement where they can't talk about it. Might not be this one, but it might be something similar. I don't know. But me, I went to Ragna, which is the malware used to hack Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's basically a ransomware. And these guys are they hit more than just Capcom. I just put it that way. I would never go to their site, though it looks like their main domain has been changed or moved. These guys are gonna keep it moving. This is why I can't mess with them. But I did read a couple of their docs. I validate that they did indeed have information from Capcom. And one thing you guys got to know that when there's a breach for any company, especially a company that's doing business with anybody on financial level or even medical, they have to make it public on how many people is affected, who's affected, and what happened. This is by law. If you do business in the US, you have to do this. And so they had to, right? They had to disclose the breach and how many people that was affected. And yes, there was agreements with Sony, Nintendo in there. I didn't see the Sony one, so I can't validate that I seen that, but I did see the Nintendo one where they paid Nintendo 6 months for Monster Hunter Rise exclusivity. Um, I did see their financial records; did not look good at all. Um, no, Resident Evil did not do them justice, not even 7. They lost a lot of money for it might have something to do with minusing the advertisements, the
108
marketing. I
Dragons
don't know.
TV welcomes
Marketing hits
everyone.
your budget pretty hard. So depending on what
Mm-hmm.
that looks like, it could hurt on your return on that. I even seen email where they firing one of the top execs in the US. So I mean it was pretty crazy what they had. I seen the Active Directory structure. I mean, it's terrible. My that's just my opinion, but whoever designed it, they didn't know what they're doing.
Okay.
But point I'm making is I'm trying to validate it because it can be real. I I don't want it to be real. But the thing is because of the things that Sony has been doing for paying for exclusivity for a year out and things like that. It's not unheard of, and I know some people put on, well, Microsoft's contracts are similar. That's not true. I
No, it's
even
not.
read the one of the references that was used. And my thing is, if you're going to prove your point, at least use a reference that uses the same language. I
Mm-hmm.
am not that crazy. I will go through thoroughly and read the contracts, and I did. Okay. Nothing in Microsoft contract says the competitor has to do technical parity. It says something
Facts.
on the lines that says, hey, if you're going to make a game for the competitor, we want you to optimize the Xbox platform to its best potential.
Right. To its
That's
maximum. Right.
that's what it says. It does not say you can't release it on streaming services for 7 years. It doesn't have any of that kind of language in it. So that's just a bad reference, and some people just run with it because it's just him without even checking and reading. It's like if you just stop to read it, you'll understand they're mutually exclusive. They have nothing to do with each other. The language is totally different. It's very damning to have something specifically say streaming services, Game Pass, uh, even though Luna is not officially out, it's still in beta. It names
You know,
Amazon and Apple, whatever streaming platform they come out with, including Stadia. It names these things and it's crazy for 7 years.
and you know what's
What?
crazy? I'm about to throw Amazon under the bus. You know, I'm a Luna beta tester, and I stopped beta testing this game 2 months ago. You know, they were still charging me. I saw a charge on my card last week. I was like, wait a minute, $6.79.
They charge you for beta testing.
No, they charge you for, yeah. That's what I was telling you. When if you watch my review on my YouTube channel, they was charging you for beta testing. But okay, I did my 30-day trial. I did not like it. It damn sure wasn't where Stadia was better. That's just the facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even compared to XCloud or
And Stadia was still a dumpster fire itself.
so
So
or
is this
GeForce Now. It's not in that level. But they were still charging me. So, I had to call them and get my money back. I was like, I want my $12, well, really $13.50 back. $6.75.
so
Anyway,
I'm definitely part of the malware subreddit, checking it out, looking for anybody that can validate these things. The
oh,
thing is,
okay.
no
Sorry.
one's validating, and no one's also debunking.
Invalidating.
Right.
There's
That's
no
nice.
debunking, and there's no validating this. So it's like we're in a situation where we can't say it's not true, and we can't say it is true.
Well,
And
it's like you said, PK. Even if that's not the exact contract they're using, if they're in any type of talks, yeah, there's going to be a non-disclosure act.
right, and
Absolutely.
right, that's what
Shout
I'm
out to
saying.
the
So
woman with a master's degree. Keep going, girl.
and that's what I'm saying. So my speculation based on this is probably they have some sort of contract or agreement. They may be similar. It might not be exact, right? That actually might be the contract, but someone added some clauses,
Okay.
See,
right?
the other
That-
thing too, if that's the contract and you're putting this limitation on, like you're saying, like the 7 years and everything, then they need to be prepared to do damage control. Because
if
people
it's
are
true,
going to be
if they can talk about it, right? And that's
right. Well, I'm
exactly.
saying like say it happens, right? And
Mm-hmm.
now they can talk about it because it's done. Everything's signed. Everything's done. I feel like there's going to be like massive damage control that's going to need to be done because 7 years they're essentially throttling everyone else because their stuff can't keep up.
I don't think they care that much. I mean, no one's talking about the fact that MLB Show runs worse on a series console than it does on PS5,
But you know,
and it's obvious.
whoa. Let me say this, man. I'm gonna say this. Digital Foundry points out stuff that really people can't see.
At the end of the day, I'm
No,
not
no,
even
hold on.
talking.
Let me finish, PK. If a game is solid 60, right, and it drops to 58 frames on Xbox, the average dude don't even have the eye for that. They're
Wait a
pointing out
minute.
stuff that's so minuscule that
Wait a
people say,
minute. I'm
"Yo,
gonna be honest with
it could
you.
drop. It drops to this now. If it dropped, it got hitches, it got pauses. I get it."
Yeah,
But
let
most
me
people can't
just put it
even
out
tell
here.
when the resolution is dynamic and it switches to 1440p back to 4K. Come on, PK.
No, let me finish because I game on PC. I could tell when my game
But
has
you're
hiccups and
you're
it's
a
poor
minority
frame.
though. You're not the
Yeah,
majority.
but
I can tell too.
I'm not
But we are
disagreeing.
not
I'm
Yeah,
not
but let the
the
man make his point.
I'm
no,
not
but I'm saying we are
disputing what
not
you're
the
saying.
leaders of being able to tell that, sick. We're
But let the
not.
man make. But let the
I'm
man
just
make his
saying.
point.
I'm
All
just
right.
saying that I'm not disagreeing that a lot of people can't tell, but I'm saying for me, that is validating kind of what we all been saying is that if the series consoles could do a better job at representing this game, they're not going to show it. They're not
Facts,
going to
facts,
use the
facts. I
features.
got that.
They're not going to use the bandwidth in the RAM. They're not going to use the actual flexing hardware power that it can potentially do. I mean, it's we're going. This is Resident Evil contract level, so we're
Right?
going to the thing that says Resident Evil 8 is going to run at 4K 60 on both PS5 and the series console, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 60 frames, 4K at 60. Are we to believe that both systems are going to run at a clean 60 with no frames dropped?
No.
Or is it, or we're, because the thing is, all I'm saying is, Akuma's point is that I think Sony understands that they're sitting in a situation where right now they're not getting that kind of uh, negative uh, um, press or backlash like they should be. I mean, think about it. Uh, you got people defending the fact that you know they don't have external storages right now, right?
No, they got it now.
Outside
They
of
got it now.
no, no, it's not the same. You could store games, but you can't play from them,
Oh no,
which
you
is a
can't play for them.
completely
No.
different thing. You could play games from external storage on the series,
From day
whether
one.
Well, hold
and
on. They can play PlayStation 4 games from
no, they
external.
can't. They cannot.
Oh,
They
hold on,
can't play
hold on, hold
no
on, hold on,
game.
hold on, hold on. Slow down. I have a PS5.
Go ahead.
All my PS4 games is on external. You can play PS4 games from external.
Okay. Well, they
God of
must have just
War,
updated.
Days Gone. I have it, son. I'm telling you, that's a
Okay.
fact. That's a fact.
I don't buy digital games from PlayStation. Again, I don't trust them.
Okay.
It's either disc or nothing. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah. I used to be like that, but I'm game sharing now.
okay. Well, for me, is disc or nothing. If it's not gonna work from the disc, forget it because
I
I don't
got you.
trust
I
it on
got you.
digital. After my account was part of that hack, I was like, no, I'm
These are
not
the
doing this no
facts.
more. But anyways, what I'm saying is they they're not getting backlash. You can't go buy an SSD, drop it in. Yes,
108
there's some
Dragons
heating
TV
issues.
welcomes
Yes,
everyone.
they have a lot of technical problems. Yes, there's a lot of things going on that might not be good for them.
Facts.
But they're, you know, they are not getting that same type of energy if the shoes were on the other foot.
Oh, yeah. That's a fact.
You
They
know,
never do.
let's just be honest. Um, there is no PS5 only game. And a lot of people say, well, Xbox has no first party games for the series console. What's the point? Neither does PlayStation.
And they never did at this point.
So, but the point is they're focusing.
Wait, hold on. You don't count Astrobot?
Astrobot is just like
Demon
getting
Souls?
Wii Sports. Let's just be real. Astrobot is like getting Wii Sports. Like, relax. That's not even a real game. Let's be honest. Okay?
See how Okumu
Shots fired.
That's a Wii Sports game. Nobody's talking about playing Astrobot today. Okay,
Astrobot is pretty good though.
It doesn't matter. It's a Wii Sports game. It's a demo.
PK ain't giving no breaks.
No, forget that. Don't even
facts
put
how it
that
is,
in the
my
same
dude.
court category. Okay,
These
not
comments
even
are
Spider-Man
exclusively
is a PS5 only game.
attached to
Okay,
PK Entertainment's YouTube channel. This is not everybody at Dragon's Den.
Not everybody. Lemon.
Hey.
I don't know.
all I'm saying
Or
is
everybody but Lemon.
Spider-Man is not even a PS5 game.
Y'all so disrespectful. You know
But
what?
not originally.
You know what?
You know why
Y'all-
it did
y'all
so well
dudes,
is
man.
because it's still on PlayStation 4. If it was a PS5 only game, it would not do so well because not everybody has a PS5.
Okay, I
Just
just
being honest.
just to point it out here.
Thank you, Akumu. Please save us. Save us.
But talk
These
about
two.
there's no PS5 games. Yes, there is, because I am very pissed off at the fact that the Final Fantasy VII Remake integration is only PS5.
That
Oh,
is not a
that
game. That is not a
that's a
full
DLC.
game though. That is
Well,
an
well,
add-on.
So there's a stipulation,
But it's
PK?
still a full game. It is still
You
know what,
a
we-
game. It's just
No,
added
let's-
more.
let's
into
just back
it.
up.
Energy.
Let's just back up. Do you or do you not need the base Final Fantasy VII Remake to play it?
Well, that's the thing. That's you have.
No,
I'm not.
answer.
No.
Let's answer.
I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm
You
not
gonna ask her a
saying-
question and tell her how to answer? Let her go.
It's a yes or no question.
No,
I'm not. Well, no, I'm not saying that you don't need the base game. Yeah, the people are gonna have to rebuy the game, the integrated in order to get that. Yes, I acknowledge that, but I'm still saying it's still part of the full game. If you have people who haven't even played it on the PlayStation 4 yet or anything, and they have the PlayStation 5 and they're gonna get it, to them, that's still a full game. is
Thank you,
what I'm-
Akumu. Thank
So
you.
let me just
Perception and facts.
let me
are two different
just
things.
push back. Okay, first of all, that's not out. All right. Number two, like I said, as far as right now, neither system has their first party IPs only for the next gen.
What about Demon Souls?
Demon Souls is a remake. He's
also
saying that's the
a
remake, but
But
he doesn't want to count that bloody.
I played it before
It has to
most
be-
anybody in
it's-
NA, and I can tell you, no, it's the same game.
It's the same.
It is the same game, but it's a
exactly.
visual upgrade. Resident Evil 2 is a visual upgrade, but it is
It's
the
a
same
texture
game.
upgrade
Hey,
and
let
they
me
updated
back
the
up.
Not
system.
Resident
I-
Evil 2 and not Demon Souls. Demon Souls
hey,
is redone.
Let me
It's the
just
same
back up.
animations.
No, it's
me
redone.
back
It's not a
up.
texture upgrade. It's not
Let
an
me just back
HD
up.
remix. It's a redone game.
Let's back up.
That's a fact. You know,
Final
I'll keep it gangster
Final-
here. You know, come
Final
on.
Fantasy VII.
Talking the
These
facts.
are the facts.
Final Fantasy VII is not a first party game. Neither is Demon Souls. Let's just back up. It's published, but it's not. All right. Spider-Man is supposed to be, but it's still cross generation. So all I'm saying is that's the main reason why it did well. It's because
So
you
cross
still got
generation
PS4.
doesn't mean it's not a next gen game.
I think he said next gen only.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying.
That's the Sony folks when they say that about Xbox.
The only,
it's the same
I mean, the
situation.
first
A lot of
next gen
games got
only
updated for
game was
Xbox,
the
and it's
medium,
like that.
but it was crapped on, right? So
The medium pushed a lot because of the fact that you look at how much work it takes to make two games.
I'm not
Basically playing
just
at
No,
the
listen, we
same
ain't. You listen. We can't stay on this subject because we could be here for an hour. So we listen. No 3-hour podcast here. We not
Yep,
doing
they
that.
confirmed the PS3 code is running underneath, and I played the game before most people in America because I had a review.
Yo, hold up,
It's
man.
the same animations.
I should have worn my PlayStation shirt with a bulletproof vest on because
I
y'all
should've worn
taking some
PlayStation
shots in the building.
Hey,
Like, what
hey,
the
let me
hell
tell
going
you,
on?
I got the kryptonite for
Like,
that, homie.
yo, listen.
You got nothing.
Jesus, y'all be damn. All right. You know what we gonna do? We gonna move on to the next topic because you and Sick, y'all dudes are like Y'all like rotten roots right now. You know what?
Hey, I'm
We
just
gon'
saying, you keeping it on
you
that
know, we
level.
gonna go into something that's gonna be positive because at One Away Dragons and Dragons Den, we try to be promoting all consoles and talk information. We are not here to assassinate no consoles, even though these dudes are giving free smoke. I
Hey,
gotta
hey,
make a
it's okay to
smoke.
be a fan and be
I
critical.
mean, we
Hey,
all
I
we all
got
assassinate PK with the Switch stuff all
Okay,
the time.
I want to talk about one of the subjects that. My God, y'all dudes is bastards. But damn.
Thanks for the know.
I'm starting to feel sorry for Sony with y'all two. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Sony's AAA title made by a couple of developers from Destiny, Halo, Apex, Call of Duty, and many other multiplayer games. They're bringing a AAA title exclusively for PlayStation, being published by PlayStation. I just want to know, first of all, let me say this for the record. Online wise, Sony has been getting punished, and I ain't talking about online with Call of Duty, Madden, 2K basketball, or anything else, Fortnite. We talking about first party wise. They haven't had a presence since SOCOM that was meaningful. Um, they've had games online. They had the VR game, Destruction Derby, Drive Club, all failures. Microsoft dominates that area with Halo, Forza, Gears. What do you think? Do y'all think or believe that this is going to be a brand new franchise, or do you think they're going to go back to the roots and bring back something that was popular for Sony back in the days? Talk to me, Akuma.
Honestly, I feel like where they are kind of right now. I feel like people are kind of tired of seeing remakes for the PlayStation just constantly. So I feel like they need to bring something original.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with going back in something that's way classic, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Jess, if you're talking, like you said, from like the publisher themselves, not like the third parties, I feel like they don't have. I feel really bad for saying this, but I feel like they don't have the best luck doing it themselves. I feel like they kind of rely a lot on like the third party.
No, but remember, the part of the question is they're bringing studios together, and it's called Probably Monsters, which is making a studio called Fireworks Studios, which is going to be a studio, but the experience is coming from the developers that I mentioned, Call of Duty, Halo, Apex, and other games like that. That's what they're building a studio with the resumes of those developers.
so they're two different studios, but yes,
Yes,
they're
But
working
they're
together.
coming basically together for
right.
They're
They're
teaming up. Okay.
teaming up. Facts.
Okay, I mean, in that case, I think that they have something they want to go like original because I think if it's done right, and I think if they give them, if I think again, like we talked earlier, I think if they back them up and if they let them get that creativity, because we've seen it with others. Like look at EA. EA will buy out a studio. Or something,
108
and
Dragons
then
TV
they
welcomes everyone.
micromanage, and then what the game was supposed to be is no longer, or they did this really good first game and EA came, bought them out. They do a sequel and EA's like looking over their shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second one's not good. And I feel like, okay, yeah, they're bringing in these people from these games. They're making their own they're making that studio. I feel like, all right, give them the creative freedom. Obviously, you're bringing in these people because they've done good work. You like their work.
Right.
So you want an original game, something that has that isn't just a remake of the classic, for the first party for them. Let them work. That's my opinion, right? It's like let them get in there, let them do their creative thing. And I mean, I'm not saying you can't check in on them every now and then. All the businesses want to know how their money's being spent, right? And they want progress reports.
Facts. They want to see where their investment is going. Facts.
Right, exactly. But don't micromanage them. Let them work.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
Don't try to over
I'm just saying.
monetize.
This is supposed to be a good Sony subject, PK.
I'm just saying. A person can hope.
It's gonna happen.
A person can hope.
Damn, son.
I'm not saying no. I kind of agree with PK. It's not necessarily gonna happen, but like I said, I kind of want to go in with like this positive, like, hey, maybe with this whole brand new studio, it's
It'll be a change. I got you.
right. Yeah, exactly. The fresh new start type thing, right? Like, okay, we already set a precedent with these. Here's something brand new. Let's start over.
Facts. Facts. All right. Yo, Bloody, give me a situation before I go to the PlayStation killers over here.
I guess I'm gonna join that crew because I'm
Oh,
about to take them on.
man.
Because here's the thing, they have talent, right? They're getting talent, but as Akumu mentioned, are they gonna micromanage or are they gonna let them do the thing? The thing is, they have to do something new. Let's be real that even when they've done something new, they try to put them in a box. Look at what happened on how they kind of held Gorilla with trying to make Killzone the Halo killer. Killzone was cool, but it never took off. They never really tried to make their own identity. Resistance with what Sucker Punch did was really cool. And it
The
had an
first
interesting
one.
concept.
The
Yeah,
first
for a
one.
first. But the thing is, they fell off and they didn't really integrate into the multiplayer. They didn't know how to make the
Right.
multiplayer
They
stand
not
out.
right. That's a
And
fact.
then look at what they also did during the PS3 era when they made Haze, right? Haze was hyped up.
Oh, that
And
game was
Haze was
terrible.
so horrible.
That
It
game
was
was
so,
terrible.
it was definition of ass cheeks. Straight out. They don't
Disrespectful.
have any idea on how to make a good shooter that it lives in its own concept. It doesn't try to compare itself to something else. That's their issue. And when they've done reboots and remakes, they also
These
have
are
a
the
lot
facts.
of issues with it too. How do you have one of your biggest titles rebooted and made it very multiplayer focused and fail at it with what they did with the Twisted Metal remake? When they tried to put that. Twisted Metal is probably one of their biggest multiplayer titles way back in the day. And they failed to really get that off the ground. They have, in the past several generations, they have not known how to make a good multiplayer concept or bring back a multiplayer game that can stand on its own.
This
Everyone
is
everyone-
blasphemy. This is just straight up blasphemy. And I'm gonna let you continue because you're a guest tonight. But don't disrespect the mighty Sony Blue Train
Okay,
in the
Insomniac.
building.
Yeah, okay, Insomniac. So yeah, Kima, thank you. But the thing is, they've not had any multiplayer stuff. They haven't even really made any games that are co-op that stand out on their own. How can you make a multiplayer game if you don't even have a game that's co-op that stands out? You know, one of the ones that is synonymous with Sony that stands out? SOCOM. And what have they done with SOCOM?
I'll get to that.
That's
Get to
not
that
their
when I
only-
talk because I was a
that's
SOCOM.
not
I'm a
their
SOCOM
only.
veteran.
I'm not saying it's their only. But
I'm a
saying it's one of the
SOCOM
biggest
veteran.
ones when you look at it.
That
But
was
thing
the
is,
biggest one.
They have not had anything that even is multiplayer or co-op focused that stands out. You look at
Facts.
Gears fits everything. It could be solo, it could be co-op, and it had multiplayer that stood out on its own.
Facts.
Halo, single
Same
player,
thing. Same thing.
co-op, multiplayer. It stands.
Forza.
They have
Same
not
thing.
had anything. Forza. Also, you can have the party mode with racing with your friends, or you can do straight up online races, right?
Okay.
But the fact is, Sony needs to really make this one sell. You have talent from the biggest studios that have made some of the biggest shooters. If you do not give them the freedom, if you do not give them the resources and let them have that creativity to make something that is unique, you are going to absolutely kill truly any big multiplayer chances you have. They need something that really sells a multiplayer aspect on their console because they don't have that from their first party.
Okay.
They, as everyone mentioned, they rely on third party.
All right.
That's only going to go so far.
Okay. Do you want to shut the door on them anymore? You got anything else to say?
Listen, I'm going to say this. This talent, let them do their thing.
Right.
Bungie absolutely made the biggest first-person game out there and has talent working on that with what they did with Halo. You have teams who've made the longest running and biggest selling continuous franchise with people coming from Activision and Infinity Ward from Call of Duty. You also have people who worked on Apex, probably the other biggest title coming from anyone who may have also worked on Titanfall. You have the biggest talent from the biggest FPS companies around. Let them do their thing.
Okay.
Don't get involved. Just let them
All right,
go.
let them run free like a wild horse in the wind. I got you. Okay. Shout out to my two co-hosts. Shout out to the PlayStation Destroyers. We're gonna go with you, PK. We gonna let you get your point across. What do you think that is happening over there with this AAA title, first party multiplayer, the developers that that they're getting involved? The all the developers with resumes from major first party studios that made big titles. What do you think about the situation, and what title do you think they're gonna bring? Was it gonna be a new IP or something they had back in the days? What do you think?
Well, it's, there's still two studios. This is a second party game, not a first party game. So I just want to make it clear. Um, Sony is publishing it, but
It's an
um,
exclusive AAA.
right, but it's still a second party game. So
Yeah, they
you
hire
know,
some mercenaries. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. So
They need to because they first parties can't figure it out. But go ahead.
these guys definitely have played and they played a lot. They play a lot of games. They're exposed to games like Final Fantasy Star, Call of Duty, Destiny, a wide range. So it's a
Apex,
good
Halo.
look.
Right, right.
It's a good look. So it's promising. Uh, I think it's going to be more of a shooter, or
Oh,
whatever it
definitely.
is.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be a shooter.
Um,
Without a
but it's
doubt.
but it's definitely going to be a monetized shooter too.
Hmm.
It's going to
Why
be
do you
one of
believe that?
those
Why do you believe that? Elaborate.
because the thing is with just judging by the language that they used and the information that they gave on coming together and the games that they're part of, they talk about the games that are monetized heavily, and they point those out intentionally
Mm-hmm.
to kind of give you an idea what their mindset is on. The thing is, I think that they can make something great, and it'll be great to see. And I also think it may also be free to play, but be heavily monetized.
Okay.
The reason why I think that is just because, I mean, you know, what we I talked about it. What we talked about the other day.
Right.
Call of Duty makes 3 million a day just on microtransactions.
Facts. And I play it every day I'm like
I'm
a
not that dude.
Call of
I'm not the
Duty
Call of Duty
junkie.
guy, but they make quite a bit of money
Yeah, no,
every
no,
day
no. They
just
they they
on.
They
they
make bank.
they make bank,
And
and I'm part of
so
that.
so you
I
really
just bought
think
an
that the
outfit for
guys
20
who
something
are
dollars
not who didn't come
with a
from that,
dog.
and the guys who didn't come from Destiny, and the guys who, they see that as
Mm-hmm.
residual income. So yeah, I think the best way to keep your game going is to offer it for free to break down the barrier, and then offer those premium packages.
Facts.
That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think it'll be solid. I think it'll be a small win for the PlayStation brand to
Okay.
have a successful multiplayer game because, like Bloody said, they have a very bad history doing it themselves. So getting some people who got experience is probably the best idea. So I
Okay.
think it will be pretty good. Um, we'll see how it turns out, but
And this
you
game
know,
ain't nowhere near being made. It's still in the production phase and writing phase. So
well,
it's not
they
like
still they're still hiring people. My
right. They're
thing
still
is,
hiring people. It's a preliminary stage, but it's good that they're moving
yeah,
into
so it's a good look.
something
It's just
first party
the only
developed
my
only.
only hypertension or nervousness I have is, you know, keep the execs out of there. Let these people do what
Yeah,
they
let
got to
them
do.
work. Let them
You
work.
know, give them the freedom to do what they got to do. If you start putting pressure, that's when things start falling apart. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say about that
All
one.
right, Sick. Give me your opinion, man, before I take us home on this one. Talk to me. What do you think, man?
I'm gonna be real positive about this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
These are the facts.
So, but before that,
Goddamn Sony assassinating twins. Y'all the Sony assassinating twins. Y'all the
I'm
worst.
about to drop a little bomb. You're gonna get a little angry first, but then I'm gonna say some nice things.
I'm not gonna get upset, bro. This is your opinion. We here to hear what you think. You know what I'm saying? But damn.
Jacob Javits in New York.
Facts.
Right before the PS3 was released, this was the first place you could play a PS3 hands-on. And what did they have on demo? Resistance 1. And let me tell you, we were there.
Yeah, we was there.
They opened up the doors.
That's
and
right.
Within like 2 hours, there was nobody online. So anybody could have just walked up and played the game. There was only one.
108 Dragons TV welcomes everyone.
It was ass. I'm sorry. It just was. It got better with the second one, and a lot of people like the second one over the third, but it did get better. That's Insomniac. I don't think they ever did an FPS before that game. So, all right, cool. I just wanted to put that out there because it's like they really don't have experience with FPS except with SOCOM. And SOCOM was dope.
SOCOM is not first person, it's third.
It's third person, but who cares? I don't care if it's
I do, because I'm a SOCOM guy. Get it right!
But you were a SOCOM guy, but this is what I'm bringing up. Xbox Live, it was SOCOM. It came with the headset, Logitech headset, right? In the box, and everything you needed to play online, right?
Facts.
Before Xbox Live, with voice chat and everything, although you had to press.
It's not before Xbox Live, no, sir.
It was out before Xbox Live.
No, it was not.
Public. You go look it up.
Your son, come on. I'm a SOCOM guy.
Anyway, just saying. Anyway, so this is an all-star group of developers who make first and third person shooters.
Facts.
So the potential here for this game to blow up is great. But the game I want to see, and the reason I bring up SOCOM is I want to see a SOCOM game. And in recent years, the SOCOM and the Navy SEALs have been in the news, right?
Right.
Okay. With the assassination of Osama bin Laden, with the rescue of Captain Phillips with that sniper shot, so you can make a great game with a single player co-op missions where you're reliving those moments and fictional moments, and you could have a great multiplayer. It could be first person, third person, however they do it.
Right. However they do it could be fun.
This could be a great game, and I would love for it to be a SOCOM game. And I would be slightly disappointed if it wasn't a SOCOM game, but that's what I want to see. But if it's something original, but this is a great group of people that have come together.
Right, their resumes is deep. That's a fact.
Yeah, I have high expectations, and I think they can meet it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this for the record. Being a SOCOM veteran, SOCOM 1 and 2, the series that was the pinnacle of Sony Online. It was Resident Evil. They tried Killzone. The first Killzone sold 500,000 the first 7 months. They was not happy. They brought that game back years after. They tried multitude of games. Sony as first party, right? They had something working. On PS3, they released the SOCOM 3. What's it? Yeah, SOCOM 3. Terrible. Destroyed the series. Never came back. Sony just took it off the market. It's like Ghost Recon now. I'm an original Ghost Recon guy. Like I always tell people, oh, how did you come up with the name 108 Dragons? 108 Dragons been around for 18 years. That's my clan. I've been the leader. We competed on game battles. We played these games competitively. Sony needs that presence online. Gran Turismo hasn't done it for them. Their biggest billion-dollar franchise hasn't done it for them, which is Gran Turismo. They need that shooter presence. And with games like Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, Rainbow Six making a serious return with over 40 million players, the shooter genre is where they need to be. I want it to be SOCOM. Will it be SOCOM? Will it be a free-to-play? I have no idea. But they need that genre of gamer who's dedicated seriously. Not something that pops in and pops out, popularity today and then tomorrow is gone. I hope they get a first-party presence because I buy Xbox and I play my first parties over there for Xbox, and then I buy my multiplayers over there because they online is better. I need a title to draw me into the PlayStation network to play multiplayer again. I have no confidence over there. I can play Call of Duty on Xbox. I don't need a PlayStation for that. And FIFA or 2K or anything third party. So I think they need a first party presence, something that's exclusive you can't get on another console or even PC. They just need it. And we all know, let's just be real here. The money is in multiplayer. The money is in microtransactions. The money is into all these skins. And some people can't afford to say like Microsoft, oh, we're not charging nothing for no extra content or DLC. We're putting it on Game Pass. They're already getting it. Game Pass for the win. But people like EA, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a microtransaction king. Overwatch. I got one homeboy spent over $800 on skins alone. That's ridiculous. So Sony has to be able to look at that market and say, we need a multiplayer game that's going to bring the community in, even if it's a shared community. If they got a first party game that's good and people splitting 50-50 with time, they'll buy that content. PUBG makes a ton of money. Fallout has surpassed that. League of Legends is definitely the king of everything with multiplayer. So I think in that aspect, Sony is looking like we need our own gaming entity to bring in this cash. And hopefully it's not a cash grab because it won't last. Because even, what was that game from Ubisoft called? Hyper or something?
Escape.
That is doing nothing. I thought the game was going to be awesome, but it hasn't made that impact yet. They haven't put out a map or weapons or situation where people saying, you have to play this. I'm a multiplayer dude. I play multiplayer 99% of my life. I'm not even interested. So they haven't drawn the people in. But I hope this generation, Sony focused on this first party title. They brought in great developers, great resume of developers that can give them an experience that they desperately need online. You would think it would be Gran Turismo. Didn't happen. Drive Club. Didn't happen. So hopefully this time around, with being on them Azure servers, you can finally get a game from them first party to say, okay, I have to have a PlayStation to play this multiplayer experience. That's why I think they need it more than anything else. I think that's awesome. And it's good that they're investing the money and just hopefully let the developers do what they do. They've moved to the West. They're changing certain ways. They're closing certain divisions, and maybe they see the light. But we'll see. And I have a lot of hopes for this. I have a lot of hopes, and let's just. I'm not going to be negative about it. I just really want them to be successful. So now we're gonna get into one of the main topics. We have plenty tonight. I want to talk about and shout out to everybody in the chat once again. I see my boy Addict popped in here. I see other Zinc. I see so many people, man. Lewis L. There's so many people here. I don't even know how to. Y'all all going crazy in these chats. But let me see who else I got to shout out. Emmanuel A1, Mr. Kima. Damn. Rain, you always know you my guy. Shout out to y'all, man. And I always like to talk to the chat. And like I said, you ain't got to do no super chats here. You say something valid or a question, we will answer you. The panel will answer you. They will notice it, and then we move on. We love to interact with you guys. Y'all guys are excellent. And y'all one of the main reasons that I even keep going with my channel, because the interaction with the community is just fabulous. But I want to talk about something that people talk about Microsoft always spending money, but we're going to talk about Microsoft investing $1 billion into Malaysia, and not only are they putting another server and data center up to expand Xbox Live, they're also giving that region of the world tech knowledge. And let me go deeper than that. They're teaching people about technology, right? Not just the people who's higher up people. We talking about the locals, bringing them in, opening books to a community that need to learn about tech. And over the next 5 years, they will be investing $1 billion. And for another great note, this proposition was made to Google and Amazon. They turned it down. Microsoft picked up that boat. They're riding on that sea. They're educating people. Of course, they're gonna put the Xbox Live and the Azure service over there, and it gives you another outlet. It brings more communities together. The more servers you got connected around the world, the less the lag, the information, and it's good to see. Sick. We're gonna start with you, being that you my IT guy. Well, PK is my IT guy too. But Sick. What did you know, or what did you think about this whole situation? How Microsoft has approached with putting a new server over there and invested into a community, which that $1 billion is way more in Malaysian money than $1 billion. So what did you think about
Right.
them going about this and educating the community on top of everything else that they're doing?
Okay, the one aspect I was not knowledgeable on was the fact that they were adding Xbox Live or
Well, it's
Xbox
Azure,
Network
Azure
server.
service, right?
Right. But a new, server farm over there. I didn't know about that aspect. But even then, I just, adds on to what I was gonna say is that okay. First off, shout out to Bill Gates, man. Up until recently, he was the richest man in the world for a long time, and he's been left Microsoft. He's not the head anymore, but still, if there's a major decision, he's still got to give the okay. And what's he doing with his time? He's helping the people across the world.
around
He's
the world.
helping people across the world.
Facts.
That's the same thing that's happening in Malaysia. And at the same time, what they're doing is, with their philanthropic interests and their business interests are one and the same. Because
Right.
when you talk about xCloud in Korea, it's poised to blow up over there particularly. It already is beginning to, right?
Facts.
And there's potential for that in Japan. So you need that server farm in Southeast Asia, and you need people to man that. And it's bong bong. It goes together, like
Right.
peanut butter and jelly. When you have the people there who's maintaining it, it brings money and knowledge to people. Technology is becoming a thing. It's almost like magic to people. Like they're afraid and they don't know about how it works. And so they'd rather just, get something to work at a basic level and not touch it because they're afraid if they do anything, it's going to blow up. Right. Because they fear, because they have no knowledge. And myself and PK, we don't like to keep the knowledge we have. We like to spread that out so people can understand.
Right.
And that's how you eliminate the fear of
Facts.
technology and other things. You bring knowledge to the situation. And so I like what Microsoft is doing, because not only does it affect their business interests, it also affects the interest that Bill Gates has as a whole to help people. This is what he's been doing with his money, and it's just it's quite eloquent. It's like what I liken to what they're doing with the quick resume support, how they're adding that into the Xbox menu now. Except it's just another row of pins. That's
Right.
a smart way to do it.
Right.
And it's the same thing with that. So I really like this move. It's great in all angles. So that's what I
Okay.
think.
Akumu, give me an aspect on the situation. Tell me what you think about the whole Microsoft investing in a brand new server and educating the local people just on technology alone.
Well, just like Sick was saying, it's smart because more and more people are getting into Xbox and they're using the Game Passes and they're using the servers, and there's only so much one server can handle before, like you were saying, it blows up.
Mm-hmm.
So putting another
Phil
server up
Spencer
there
is
to
not playing.
take the pressure off, it's a very smart decision, whether from both the business aspect and the fact of, okay, yeah, you're teaching the people and you're giving them economic growth. Also, you're giving them skills that they can use. You're giving them jobs also.
Right.
So, from both like the business standpoint and the just wanting to help people standpoint, it's good. And then people see this too, and sometimes it's hard for me to necessarily separate the business aspect because of the way that I think. But this also generates like the goodwill. Right, so this builds up goodwill towards the company as well, because obviously this news is big, right? It's not just something that's kept to Malaysia where only like they know, right?
Right.
It's blown up, so people see this and they're like, oh wow, y'all are doing good work. This is cool, from all over. So yeah, absolutely. Like I said, with the servers, with the economic growth that they're helping them, they're teaching them skills. And the thing is it also can build that loyalty. I'm not saying that, oh, the people who are going to work there, they might not want to work there forever, right?
Right. Right.
But the fact is, it's still that loyalty. It's still that, hey, you taught us this, so yeah, the least I can do is at least stay for a couple of years before I
Mm-hmm.
move on to something else,
Mm-hmm.
and then bring in someone else, teach them the skills, same thing.
Facts.
So you're building up these people's skills also in the tech world, right? And technology is constantly growing.
Every six
It's
months we got something new.
exactly.
That's a fact. You can't
Right,
even
so
keep up with it.
exactly. And that's the thing, because you need more. I feel like you need more tech people out there too.
Okay.
Like you absolutely you do. Like it's growing so fast that sometimes companies can't keep up. Looking through different job opportunities and everything, you always see some kind of posting for an IT person, some kind of tech person, cybersecurity, something.
Shout out to PK, Mr. Cyber Security himself. He the man.
Right, and exactly, and that's
Facts.
something that's very important, right? So
Facts.
yeah, I think what they're doing is absolutely great. Yeah.
All right, bloody. I know you want to pump your green flag, so go ahead. Get it done. You've been
Oh,
quiet for a minute. Get it done.
I was just, hey, I give everyone the respect they
Yes,
deserve
you do.
to be able
Yes, you
to.
do. Especially the Japanese, but we not gonna say you're biased, but okay.
All
Go
right.
ahead, son. I'm teasing. You know I'm teasing. Go ahead.
But
Yeah, you just
no,
allude to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, the big thing about it, right, is that this, as Sig mentioned, as Akuma mentioned, this has a lot of multitude of ways that it can go out. One, you mentioned, this is expanding how much information is able to be spread with their data servers, right? On how that works for Xbox, works with their Azure, which is very big across the world because a lot of companies use Azure servers, and the fact that it also extends what they're doing with xCloud. Look at
Mm-hmm.
what they brought in when they built some of the data centers in Africa, right? They did that to help expand and that side going through Europe and right through there as they're kind of expanding and making more of a global network to be able to share that information. Malaysia is probably one of the biggest third world countries. Well, they have a lot that's there. They still don't have that kind of big economic boost that they need to
No, you
really
said it right. They're
make.
third world. Let's just keep it
Yeah.
100. There's no
And this
disrespect. That's
this
what they are.
with the
Facts.
fact that they're bringing one of the biggest data centers from one of the biggest companies to help extend their network, and then turning around and teaching the locals
Right.
skills and bringing them into that, that's giving that's one, bringing technology to that country, giving tech skills to those locals,
These are
and
the
helping to,
facts.
one, be able to expand what technology and what reaches does. Look at like how India has a big tech center because of how many companies go through them, from using from tech support and other aspects. It's not
Facts.
even just the customer service aspect. It's the fact that they go through there because of the fact that they taught a lot of those skills,
Yeah.
and it's been a big boost for that region.
They invested
Malaysia's
in the
now getting that.
community. Facts.
Yeah. So now Malaysia's going to get that economic boost to help make them, one, bring in more aspects, because the fact that you're teaching these people technology and a lot of tricks with, one, not just running the data centers, but everything else that comes around that information of studying technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to bring other countries or other companies to want to say, hey, we need technology here because we either need our data centers here, or hey, we need tech support and we need people who are trained and understand that. We need y'all, and we're going to make offices here. That brings in other companies to want to be like, hey, this may be a hot spot for people who actually know about technology now. We need to invest and put stuff here. And then what does that do? That turns around and brings in more people to gain those skills in Malaysia, and that brings in more economic boost to help lift their country up. So the fact is, it's not even just the fact of how good this is for Microsoft with extending their Azure network, which already boosts companies worldwide, and how it powers their Xbox and xCloud network. No, this is good for the country itself by bringing in much needed skills, because that's the biggest aspect of this all is it's teaching skills to help better their lives, because those skills can not just benefit Microsoft, it can benefit other companies that want to then come into the country and say, hey, we need people who have this. And guess what? They'll have that because they were taught that by someone wanting to give back to them.
Okay.
And that's what is the biggest aspect of this.
Nice. Nice. Very well. Very, very detailed views. PK, talk to me.
So I was just say there's absolutely companies like Microsoft definitely make moves like this because there are complex uh investments here. One, yes, it's a great thing they're doing it for Malaysia, teaching them the technology, etc. But if you're an Azure administrator or Azure security administrator, you understand that when you set up these tenants and allocate resources, you also have to say where these resources come from, what part of the world. So extending their footprint into Malaysia and other parts of the world is a huge benefit for their customers. Being able to hit those data centers wherever they sit, you know,
Mm,
and that could be advantage for them that maybe AWS don't have. So again, there's multiple aspects of this investment where
108
they
Dragons
see this
TV
as
welcomes
potential growth
everyone.
for their product. And it's a win on both sides because you have growth within that community where they can potentially get jobs, right? And not just there, but hired for companies outside of their country.
right.
I mean, I got people I worked with all over the place, all over the world, and my thing is there's skills everywhere, and that's the point I'm making. So definitely, um, is a multi-facet and complex investment, and it's a definite win. If they're investing $1 billion there, they know the potential return on that is going to be tenfold.
Facts. Okay.
You know what, PK, to kind of add on, you bring up a good point of stating where those assets are coming from, because that shows that in that area that there's more closer data centers that make it easier to get that information without having that intense lag and
100%
slow
correct,
down.
Bloody.
Yeah.
100%.
Because just to say I'm sorry to cut you off, bloody. They
No, no.
do have they do have these lanes where you can pay for the fast lane, but no one is paying for that, right? Unless you're like PNG or some big company who's got that kind of bread to drop down on
Facts.
fast lanes. But just getting data from here to UK, there is latency, right? So
Mhm.
you expanding where your data center set is definitely a good point for businesses that may not exist directly in the US or might need to communicate within countries near them. So yeah, like I said, I definitely agree with you there, buddy. And I'm sorry,
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead, finish
extending
your
that
point.
network to how they communicate, because the fact that then there's less uh like the latency and lag on how long it takes to send that information, because of the fact that now they can pull directly from there instead of sending from like Malaysia to probably their closest one in Korea or in
Right,
India.
right, right. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. It's about building
Yep.
that network and infrastructure. Okay, we're gonna get into two topics. It's basically the same, but I like to address somebody. Well, I ain't gonna say the person's name, but I'm gonna address somebody who called me a fraud a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago to be exact. First of all, if I put out a number, it's always the facts. I never say nothing I don't know. I told everybody Game Pass was over 22 million people. How'd you get those numbers? You're not even a big YouTuber. Why would you know that? I said, because, listen, doesn't matter how I know it. It doesn't matter. I don't have to present documentation. I say what it is. And at 108 Dragons TV, at the Dragons Den, I only deal with people that promote the facts. That goes from everybody who's ever been on my podcast to everybody I support who I shout their name out, even my goddamn subscribers. I try to speak the truth. I told the world that Xbox was over 22 million over 3 weeks ago. And now when Microsoft put the numbers out and said 23 million, I feel like I should have a goddamn parade thrown in my name. Because I know a couple things. I ain't gonna claim to go out here and say I got resources.
You're still a fraud because you said 22 and it's really 23.
I said at the time that I said it 3 weeks ago, it was
Right.
over. I said over 22 million. I didn't say 22 million. I said over.
There you go.
But now when they come out and promote the facts and say we're over 23 million as of today, I felt good. When I said on GLG in I think it was January, December of 2020, I said Game Pass is over 10 million people.
Yep.
K-Mega said, "Let me how you know that?" I said, "I know." He said, "Okay." Because I know what I'm talking about. I won't say it if I don't know it. He said, "Okay, I got you, bro."
There's certain connections have been made. Let's just say
Yeah, facts. But I don't go out here and brag about sources. So with that being said, this subject combines both. With Xbox Game Pass being over 23 billion at this point, the MLB The Show has received the highest attendance of gamers in the history of the franchise. People, we know the numbers that is being sold at day one, or not all during the generation of that year of game. About 1.2 to 1.5 million on PlayStation. They didn't give a specific number because trust me, I would tell y'all asses. But the attach rate to the game is overwhelming and is beyond that 1.2 million mark. So, with that being said, with the success of Game Pass, being in Game Pass day one, people, anybody could jump in. Tell me your thoughts on the success of Game Pass and MLB 2K21, and I want my damn props for saying it ahead of everybody. Facts.
All right, hang on.
That's a
The
fact.
people who heard you say a number, they jumped at it because they were over here like, because they got excited, right? Because they said, "What are you talking about, and where are you coming from?" But the fact is, we've known about this because look at what they said back in December, right? 18 million, and now in almost 4 months, they added another 5 million. You know why?
No, but hold on, son. Hold on. Remember, when I said 10 million early 2020, dudes told me, hit me on Twitter, how you know? They don't report the stats. I said, they don't report the stats publicly.
Guess what?
I didn't say they don't. They know their stats. They don't report to nobody. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to find out. I mean, there's investors' calls. There's
I know people.
Meetings.
Plus, if you've been paying attention, throughout this past year with the pandemic and all, a lot of folks is home, and this has been every month. The number has been rising every month, and during the holidays, it rose at exponential rate, which was even faster than it was all year, right? So, like, if you're a logical person, you should already know these numbers are right. And I was saying 2 weeks ago that I think by the time E3 hits, we're gonna be at 25 million.
Over.
No, it's gonna be over that. It's gonna be over that.
Facts.
And by the end of the year, I was saying originally it's gonna be past 30, and a lot of people were saying 40 and 50, and I don't know about 50, but I can entertain the idea even that
it'll be over 25 million.
June, it might be closer to 50 than it is to 40. Like, it's gonna pass 40. I don't want to say 50, but it'll be closer than that than a lot of people want to admit. And even now, Sony wants, to tout. I actually don't even know if it was Sony. It's really the fans, because NPD put out this information that apparently the PS5 has hit 13 million sold. And that's great and all. And that's like record for PlayStation and all. The Game Pass is at over 23 million. And whenever we got the number, that was probably already old news. So it's probably already at 25 or about to be. So there's 25 million people on Game Pass. And it doesn't matter what system you flex.
It don't matter what generation of Xbox you use.
Doesn't matter what generation of Xbox, or even if you're just using it for the streaming, right? That's 25 million. Or, okay, let's just stick with the
Stick with 23 because that's the
23
allocated
ain't all about
number.
it. That's still more than PlayStation. That's important. That's past the line where you can't ignore them anymore. Okay, so it's like what they say with the console. You know, the first to 10 million wins. It already doesn't matter. This is the new thing now. Okay, they're past 10. They're past 20. They're at 23 and probably past that already because it's probably already old news. Microsoft is here to stay as a competitor, number one.
And they're taking it seriously.
And they're taking it seriously.
That's a fact.
Like they never did before. The vault has been opened. They have access to the money and everything else that they needed that they truly didn't have before. Yeah, they spent a lot of money in the past. This is on a whole nother level, and you see the growth. You've been watching it all year.
They had the money. They just didn't have the right investments. That was the issue.
No, it's not even about the investment. It's not about the investment. It's about the backing. It's about the backing.
They could throw money at anything, but the investment of what they're throwing at is the thing. And what they discovered, what Game Pass knew that they can double down on this and be able to turn it into something. That's what I mean by investment. Because again, you can invest in anything. You can throw money at anything. But it's what are you investing in?
Right.
We talked about the fact of what they were trying to do with cloud streaming, right? They've been working on this for a decade when they introduced cloud saves back on the 360 and then introduced free cloud saves and free data storage for everything and everyone and the Xbox One. And now guess what? You can pick up your game, not just your save files or your data on any device at any time, anywhere in the world. And that all started with saves back a decade ago.
And there's certain platform holders who don't like, the sound of
But you know what?
Apple. But
that's true. All that's true. But let's not get away from what we're talking about. The subject is Game Pass.
The subject is Game Pass and MLB. And what
MLB, right.
The reason is they put into a service. They showed what it's capable of. They continue to feed into that, not just with their own first-party stuff, but giving access to third-party games, some of them launching first in Game Pass along with other platforms, and them getting so much attention. They showed that, hey, look at everyone who's talked about the deals that they make. It varies based on developer and everything. They provide
108 Dragons TV welcomes 4 guys with quarters.
People taking a chance on this. So much so that you've seen third-party publishers take brand new IPs, such as Outriders, and look at how that blew up being on Game Pass day one.
Facts.
That brought them a lot of attention. A game that if they just released it, no Game Pass, no nothing, on all platforms, may not have had the same attention because people may not take that risk on investing $60 on a game they aren't sure of. But now people enjoyed it, and now you see that there's a lot of support for it and a lot of interest. Long term, it depends on the developers at this point, right? But they got the community, they got the interest. MLB is a sports game that a lot of people have wanted to be on more than one. We've seen that even Phil said that he wanted a baseball game on the platform, but he wasn't going to do first party. MLB said that they wanted
Phil Spencer is not playing
the license in the game, not just on PlayStation anymore. They wanted it on other platforms. MLB and Xbox said, hey, guess what? You want more people? We have access to that. Let's do something about it. What did they do? Xbox ended up getting some of the marketing, a lot of the marketing for that game.
Yep.
And brought in a lot of people. Yes, you can tout that there's 13 million people who bought a PS5. How many of those people are actual sports fans? How many of those people are going to play baseball? How many of them actually care? How many of those consoles are actually with actual players and not with scalpers? That's the question. Guess what? The subscriber numbers for Game Pass are solid because these are people who are actively in Game Pass, actively subscribed, who are actively using the service.
Facts.
So guess what? That's 23 million people that you can reach now that you didn't have before. When a company looks at that, why would they not want to take a deal or do something?
2 hours later.
It's about reach and it's about impact. When you offer access to more people than you ever had, why are you going to look at that as a bad way? That's why Game Pass is so good, and that's why Sony needs their own version. They need to do more either with PS Now or build that into PS Plus and do something.
Shout out to Lewis L. He said, big bank takes little bank. Speak them facts.
Hey, Ice Cube said it, and he meant it.
Facts. Facts. Akumu, talk to me. What did you think? What do you think about this whole situation, man? The success of MLB The Show is the biggest in the history of the game. Um,
See, that's the
it's a
thing.
rhetorical question. We know what it's about, but what do you get from this whole success with the Game Pass day one?
Right. So Game Pass itself are combined with the MLB,
Right,
because something to keep in mind, I will game all day, any types, but sports are not my thing. So
right.
I mean, I might have to bow out of this one gracefully
Hey, but
because
I'm not. I'm just talking about the success. Since you ain't got to be a valid player to see the numbers. I mean, this is a big day for gaming for Outriders and MLB being on a Outriders is a new platform and MLB The Show being on another platform for the first time. Just talk about the success of the series, and you don't have to play it. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about any success, but just give me your opinions on the success because you're so well educated.
I mean, the success of the Game Pass, I think it's a lot of factors. It includes the fact that they're being smart. Like y'all were talking about the fact of, like Nux mentioned, investing in the right thing, filling out, testing, because obviously when the Game Pass came out, it didn't have all these huge things, right? But they get tested. People like it. They're like, oh yeah, this is something that I would definitely spend money on, And then Microsoft were like, okay, we got something here, and they grew it because as much as we, well, let me change. As much as I may not like EA,
Right.
they brought EA into the Game Pass.
Your facts.
Right? So now you have EA into the Game Pass. Just recently, what was that? Bethesda. They got Bethesda into the Game Pass.
They got way more than that, but you're right.
Well,
We're just
bought-
waiting on Ubisoft.
They bought a half of the industry with
Like,
one deal.
You're
Facts.
saying that it's got the whole Bethesda backlog.
Right. Yeah.
Bethesda,
Right. Well, I guess
ZeniMax
you should say
is
the
serious.
ZeniMax family.
Right, ZeniMax
Yeah,
family.
There you go.
So-
That's why I keep telling people it's not just about Bethesda. ZeniMax
Right, okay,
owned
so
all
I'll
of them.
rephrase that. The ZeniMax family.
Right.
They, all of a sudden they got that, and now that's in Game Pass, right? So of course they announced it ahead of time. Oh, this is what we got, and then this is what we're gonna put on there, and of course that drew even more people, right?
Right.
So now you have even more people going like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try this out. They have the, for those who don't have it yet, never tried it, it's like, because I know when I first tried it, it was just like, oh, hey, well, it was like 14 days for $1 or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like
for $1.
or a month
Oh
for
no.
$1. Okay,
Shout out
so-
to the EBT card service that dudes was hating on. Shout out to them. But go ahead, sis. You on
But-
fire.
But yeah, okay, so a month for $1. Okay, so you get on there, you do your thing or whatever, and you're like, okay, if I don't like it, I'll cancel it. No big deal, right? That's how most stuff was. The thing is now you start playing it, and you're just like, oh, this game, and then you get drawn in, and before you know it, your month's almost up, and you're like,
And then what you do? And then what you do? And then what you do? Tell them what you do after that. You pay that $10 a month, right?
Right. So then you subscribe and you pay that $10 a month because you're like, there's stuff that I'm guilty of it. I go and do that, and then I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. They had Final Fantasy 9 on there. That's one of my favorite games. It's just like between that and some
they
other
got a
things
little
I was
bit for
doing.
everybody, huh?
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it, right? So it's like your month comes to an end, or excuse me, my month's coming to an end, and it's like I haven't finished Final Fantasy 9 yet. No, it can't end like this, right? And that's the thing, though, because like you said, there is something for everybody. And that's what they're doing, and doing it smart. They're not just like, oh, okay, well, we're just gonna have shooters because that's what's in right now, right? That's what everybody wants. We're not just gonna have battle royales because that's what everybody wants. There's something for everyone. You can be a casual gamer, and there's something in there for you.
You can be an indie game lover. You could be an action game lover, third person, first person. You could be a sport game lover. You could love EA. They got something for everyone. But I got a question. You ever heard this song? I know you're a lot a bit younger than me. You ever heard the song called "I'm Your Pusher" from Ice-T? Nah,
No,
you
I don't
haven't.
think so.
But for people that did, that's listening in the chat, when you heard that song from the OG Ice-T before he was on CSI New York or Law and Order New York, he put out a rap song called I'm Your Pusher. And part of that song was, I'm going to give you the drugs, and then I'm going to take it away, and then you're going to want it later, so you're going to come right back. That's what Game Pass is. They're giving you the goods.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving it to you. Yeah, I'm going to buy this for $1, 30 days. I ain't going to want it. We all know it's more than 200 games in there. They keep saying 100 plus. They need to raise that to 200 plus. So now you get in there, you spend your $1, your 30 days is up, you downloaded 15 games, you have a life, you have a job, you have a wife, you have kids, or you have a husband, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you got a sick mother, whatever. You get these games, you don't have all the time in the world to play, and now your subscription is running out.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you do is resubscribe. HBO Max was not considered nowhere near close to Netflix until the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're getting this first party exclusive. We just got King Kong versus Godzilla, the #1 watched digital movie ever. We just got Mortal Kombat. Before Godzilla, what did we get before Godzilla? It was something else that was major.
Oh, Snyder Cut.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah.
So now you paying whatever the monthly fee is, you get the Snyder Cut. 4 hours, excellent movie. Godzilla almost 30 days later. But you're getting a 7-day trial on HBO Max. You can't get another one. So they dangle that little bit of marijuana in your face. They go, "Ooh, you want this Hawaiian? You good? Because if you don't want it, I'll take it from you." What you do, you reinvest. Mm-hmm. And that's what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass. Oh, here's a 14-day trial, $1. Now, the average gamer don't buy 20 games a year for one console. They don't buy all these games. They don't play these different genres. But you paid $1. And in your 14 days, the whole library opens up. Now you saying, I'm going to try Forza. I'm going to try these 6 indie games. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that for $1. So you come home from work, forget about your 14-day trial. You go in there and try to play a game. You are no longer a Game Pass member.
And not only that too.
What do you do?
But going off of that too, it also lets people try games that they might not have even tried before.
Facts. And that's what Phil Spencer said when everybody was laughing. Right. Oh, he want to be Netflix. He want to be this. Listen, man. And like I always say, my man Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer is not playing.
That's a fact. And I was not on board from day one. I didn't say I was an advocate, but the facts of the matter. Listen, because I'm the type of dude, I buy what I want day one, don't care. And then I start saying, whoa. I can be part of this team, pay one monthly fee, first part. And I'm to my ultimate. I said, And shout out to my boy Intermediate Gamer, my man 100 in the chat. I said, listen, I can get these games with all the Halo content, all the Forza content, all the Gears content. Those are my main 3 games from Microsoft. That's like if Sony did that and said, oh, everything from God of War you could download. I'm in. God of War is my favorite franchise on Sony. Man, that's a no-brainer. Anybody think anything outside of that?
But you're right, because even like you were saying, day one, I was just like, whatever. And it's kind of like, all right, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it stays or if it's gonna go. And the thing is I was like months and months, and then finally, I was just like, and of course I also made the mistake of finally getting it while I was still in school.
Facts.
So that took up a lot of time too. But I finally was like, all right, you know what? Okay, I'll give this a shot. And so you start playing it, and then like you said, you're like, ooh. And then there's games that I'm just like, oh, I heard about this, but
let me try it.
Well, exactly. Well, let me try it. And it's
it ain't like you spending nothing extra.
Exactly. And had I not had that, then there's no guarantee that I would have even tried it because it wasn't, and I can't think of the game right now, but it wasn't something that I would have usually played. Right.
Shout
So
out
it's
to
just
Bloody
like,
for yelling out that name.
okay.
Philosaurus Rex.
That's right.
Wait, I'll say.
Anybody else want to chime in, man, before we time out? Because this is absolutely the longest time we've been on this Dragon's Den, and we cutting all this short. My dog is calling me. He like, yo, I need to go outside, and if I start crapping around here.
To close it out, right, is that Game Pass has proven that it has the staying power, it has the star power, it has the investment power, because guess what? They're not investing just with the smaller indie titles and stuff like that, and especially with all the games.
Phil Spencer is not playing.
Other program for people don't know this, that Game Pass also helps out anyone in the ID at Xbox program, the independent developers that they help fund to get games that they wouldn't be able to do, right? That's all going in Game Pass because that's part of some of the deals and stuff like that. But now they get the third party, right? This service has proven that it has everything it needs to succeed, and it's gaining the popularity. And it's not just here in the States; it's getting the popularity worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide.
Because of the fact that even in Asia, one of the toughest markets Microsoft has had trouble breaking out into, Xbox Series X and Series S sold out in Korea, sold out in Japan. It's been selling in Taiwan and all of Southeast and most of Northeast Asia now.
Facts.
And with that, what is the one thing, especially if you look on Twitter and stuff like that, all those Asian countries that are promoting and getting all excited that they got Series S or Series X, what is the one thing that they keep mentioning in all those tweets? That they're excited for Game Pass.
Facts.
Because it
Facts.
also plays on mobile and PC, which are big in those markets. It has the ability to be anywhere on any device, and that's the thing. And I guarantee
108 Dragons TV welcomes everyone.
By the end of the year, with the way that it has been growing, you see that it gained 5 million within 3 to 4 months. I guarantee that it's going to be at about 28 million by November, close to the time that Halo Infinite launches, if not 30 million by the end of the year. I can see that without a doubt, with the way that it's growing.
Well, I'm not going to promote no numbers unless I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to let you and Sig do that.
Hey, look, I'll take the heat on
I already was called a fraud for saying the truth, but okay.
Hey, when you look at the exponential rise, there's no fraudery when you're looking at growth.
My man said exponential rise.
30 million in a year? Like, they were at 10 million after 2 years, but gained double that within one. I'm just saying, it's called marketing and understanding analytics, and you don't have to take my word for it. Ask the one with the master's degree over there. She understands market trends.
Okay. Well,
Am
we
I
gonna
wrong?
no facts. But we gonna do our silence. We gotta go. We gotta go. This is the longest show ever. Well, hold on. Let me see where we at. Yeah. We at 2.5 hours. We almost touched that 3 mark. We don't do 3 here. I ain't doing no 3s. Listen, Bloody. Where can they find you? And what have you been doing? And when are we getting smashed back? Let's go.
Well, you can find me on all my social medias over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and you can also find me streaming 4 to 5 times a week over on twitch.tv/BloodyNuts, as well as where I be doing stuff occasionally over on Glimish, a new streaming service. But for me, I was like, I've just been gaming, streaming, doing a lot of stuff with my girl over there. And Smash, I'm hoping to bring it back in May. I'm trying to get on everything, but you guys have been amazing. It's always great to be over here. And of course, as always, the chat is beautiful, wonderful as always. So
yeah, they lit tonight. They lit. We appreciate all the great shows, everybody, man. And shout out to you, Bloody, for coming through. You know I love you, bro. I got you all day. You my little brother. You know I got you, bro, all the time. Akumu, where can they find you at? What days do you stream? What game you looking forward to in the next 30 days? What's good? How life treating you? Talk to me, sis.
I mean, you can find me at Twitter, but be prepared for a lot of animal pictures and the occasional stream tweet.
Okay. I ain't mad.
I've been kind of I've noticed a lot of my friends have kind of been depressed lately, and they always ask for animal pictures. So I've just been retweeting the hell out of
animal pictures. Okay.
I come across now because that's what it feels like every time I turn around. Someone else says, "I had a bad day. Animal pictures, please." So that's what my Twitter accounts turn into.
You turn
Okay.
into a bat stand cat. What are you talking about?
Let me shout out
Yeah.
my boy Deck in the chat, man. See you out there supporting, man. Like I said, man, if I missed anybody, I always try to shout out everybody. This channel is definitely about the gamers and the community that we deal with. I love all y'all, man, and keep that positive energy out. You know, like I always say, just try to share to the nearest person to you that will understand what we're doing here. We talk about all consoles and gaming. With that being said, we gonna get into my man Six Layer because I want this show to end. Well, not just with me, but the most electrifying YouTuber on the planet, aka I interview everybody like I'm Peter Parker, but we ain't gonna go to PK. We going to my boy Sick, the
Thanks a lot for that
Matrix.
because I can never follow him, man. I don't got yo. Hey, him is still make me look like wow. I need to up my game when it comes to that. But yo, you can find me on social media and everywhere. Great games are played. You already know the name Six Slayer, no C, including an Oculus platform as well. You can find me on GRG every Friday and right here on the Dragon's Den every Saturday.
That's a
7
fact.
p.m. Eastern time, the real Lord's time.
Facts. And what's crazy, let me shout out my brother PK. You see that symbol popping off. That means something. He's electrifying. His logo is electrifying. My other brother, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to PK, man. Always give great points. Super IG dude, super honest individual. Go check out his channel. Go support him on Four Guys and Quarters. Shout out to Clowns, Graphic Guard, and all the other content creators that was in here tonight. Like I always say, it's a community, man. And my content creators, we out here and we support each other. And that's what means the most to me, man. Just to see them dudes who do exactly what I do, still in my chat, still communicating. Clowns, you had to leave. Go watch TV with Wifey. I see you in the building. But PK, give them that most electrifying outro.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here with my brothers. I know I'm feeling a little under the weather. I apologize, everybody, for show. Definitely enjoy being here with my family. You know, I got my whole
Facts.
team with me. That's my theme. I got my whole team with me. But definitely catch me here with on the Dragons Den, uh, holding it down. Definitely 4GQ TV. Uh, you know, I just did an interview with Ryan
Preach.
Penagos. He is the executive director at Marvel Entertainment. He's the big guy himself behind the
Drop
scenes.
that link in the
Definitely,
chat, son. Drop that link in the
definitely,
chat. Promote that channel, you know.
definitely. Definitely on GRG every Friday with my family as well. We just gonna keep it pushing, man, and definitely bringing information to the community because you know we ain't about all these people that just want to say something like it is like it's like there's some truth to it like 108 says it's got to be facts and nothing. You
Facts.
feel me? So that's
Facts.
what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it pushing and keep on bringing the entertainment to you people. Thank you for coming through for sure.
And first of all, I'd like to thank my first two panel members, man. PK, Six Slayer, those are my brothers, man. They always hold me down. And of course, Bloody is my brother. He bring his lady through. She's so educated doing what she need to do. And I appreciate everybody. And I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. And like I always say, man, at the end of the day, what we do at 108 Dragons, man, and I say it all the time. I want you to bring your game and not your name. And that's the facts. I see y'all next weekend and check out the content during the week. You already know what we do, man. Very humble, very appreciated. Shout out to Addict that's in the chat. I see you, bro. Let's get it popping. I see y'all on the next one. Peace!
Before you let him go, I want to tell everyone who's here right now.
You gonna
If
do
y'all
this
aren't
now?
following-
You
yes,
gonna do
because of the fact that I just remembered. If y'all aren't following me, hey, if y'all aren't following me, y'all need to because your boy is giving away the entire Yakuza franchise over on Xbox or on PC if you want Steam. So if you want to get in on that, make sure you absolutely go check that out.
So generous and giving.
We gone. Peace.